jerseys, but he's going to be knocked down hard at the 20-yard line. And as we talked about, the Winnsboro Wildcats will be led on offense by number 11, the quarterback, Russell Williams, a dangerous runner, and also the two running backs, Jimmy Wilhite and Bobby Rose, the fullback. So Winnsboro comes out first down and 10 at the 21-yard line. And it's a little dark up here, folks. We're going to have trouble with some of these names. We're going to do the best we can. The Independence Tigers in white and looking to take that second step along the road to the Superdome. So we'll see if the defense, who has done it all year long for them, can step up here, led by Antoine Courtney, Don Drake, McLean, and the cast of characters that they have done a fine job week after week. Split backfield for the Wildcats. One man comes in motion to the high side. They drop back and they turn and they hand to Wilhite up the middle and nowhere to go there, as it looks like Nathan Hatfield on the tackle. And Mark, right away they try to test the middle of that line and no going.
There, I think right there was a busted play as the quarterback Williams reversed out. It looked like Rose went the other way. Wilhite was there and he handed him the ball, and as a result, the blocking was not set up for him to run the ball. Independence middle closed it down with Courtney, and Drake did a fine job on first down. That's what you have to do, this Winnsboro ball club, keep them in second and long situations.
Oh, and I'm sure if Independence can put them in a throwing situation, they would love to do that here. At the Tigers' middle with Drake and Courtney, two big men up the middle, it's going to be tough to run up the middle. And once again, Williams takes tackle, looking to throw the ball. He's got the little out pattern and puts it a little bit to the outside. Not bad coverage there, as it was number 5, Devarius Best. And he was there, but the pass overthrown, so third and long. Good job for the Tigers' defense.
There, I think the viewers will be surprised at how well the sophomore Williams throws the football. He has an arm comparable of Antron Siebers. He'll throw it up there about 60, 65 yards in the air. Not really that accurate, but he is a great athlete, and when he can bust a play and get out and find a guy open, he can hit him.
And talking to all the coaches before the game, they expected a high-scoring game here, both potent offenses, but right now the Tigers have them where they want them in third and long. Williams drops back once again, sending the man up the sideline, turns for the out powder, not even close there, and Kenny Albritton was all over him like a blanket.
On the near sideline, the Winnsboro, or the home sideline, the footing is not very good where the drainage off of the crown of the turtleback, it really is pooling up around the Winnsboro sideline, so any out routes run to this side of the field are going to be very tough tonight for both ball clubs.
And looking at the stands, I wouldn't be surprised to say that the Tigers have brought more fans than we have here for the Wildcats. They have come out in numbers here to support their Tigers. So they will force the Winnsboro team to punt. Set back deep to receive is Kenny Albritton at about his own 46-yard line. High snap, fielded cleanly. Punt is up and away. A nice high punt there will be fair caught at about the 44-yard line, and he wasn't given much room to field it, but no flag, so the Tigers take over with great field position on offense.
It is very tough to see tonight. The lights here are extremely low, and they are the yellow bulbs and not the white halogen bulbs. It's extremely tough to see and very windy tonight, and both teams were having trouble fielding punts and pregame warm-ups, so that right there was a sign of relief to Coach Baggs.
And right now, look for them maybe to come out as they did last week against Plaquemine and try to run Tofield and establish the running game here early. First down and 10 at the 44-yard line. Sieber surveys the defense. Williams to the high side with Albritton set low. They turn and pitch to Tofield to the wet side of field. He's wide open as Albritton. Tofield lays it out there and overthrown. And what a call there on the first play of the game. They had him wide open by 20 yards and a bit overthrown, as I think maybe the wind carried the ball over the head of Albritton.
Yeah, that's a play that I think the coaches coming into the ball game felt would be open and probably will be open again tonight, because basically Winnsboro is going to have to commit a lot of people to the run. And right there, Tofield a little bit jacked up here before the ball game, and some adrenaline flowing, wind in his back, and that ball carried a little bit on him, and I'm sure they'll go back to that play possibly later in the ball game.
And the adrenaline is definitely pumping here as these second-ranked Tigers looking to take the next step. Sieber turns, hands the ball to Tofield, a little counter tray, big hole up the middle. He busts it out for about an 11-yard gain inside the Plaquemine 45-yard line. They will have a first down there. And I tell you one thing right now, if they cannot stop the Independence offensive line from opening holes for Tofield like that, he's going to have a field day here.
Nice job on the counter sweep right there. Josh Day and Steve Mulkey leading, kicking out the end, who got upfield, and that's the Independence bread and butter play, the counter sweep, and we saw it right there. Winnsboro, not a great defensive club. They give up a lot of yardage, and so far that's been the case here tonight.
So barring turnovers, we expect the Tigers to put some points on the board here. Single bat set with Tofield. They hand it off the left side once again. He's to the outside, cuts back up the middle, 10, 12 yards, and they're inside the 35. And right now, the offensive line for the Tigers having their way with this defense, and they are blowing them off the football.
Counter sweep on the first play. We see the zone stretch play to the left that time. Once again, great blocking on the left side by Kerry Watkins, Brett Anzalone, and the great back toe field able to make the cuts and pick up the first down.
And real impressed looking at the Tigers before the game at the business-like manner they came in here with. Their heads are on straight and they're ready to play football and doing a fine job here early. Kenny Albritton to the lower side of the field, Williams to the high side. Sieber overlooks the defense. He will turn once again his toe field left. Big hole to the left side, driving hard, will pick up another 10 yards, and they're down to the 24-yard line. And right now they look like they found something over the left side of this offensive line as they are just really opening holes that way.
There on the snap of the ball, the Independence offensive line had a 5-yard push almost immediately at the snap of the ball, and if Winnsboro cannot stunt or do something, commit more people to the line of scrimmage, they're going to struggle all night long with run defense. Look for them to bring up a safety to the line of scrimmage, possibly 9 in the box, and force Independence to throw the football.
And throw the football they have this year as Antron Sieber has been phenomenal throwing the football when forced to. And as we see, they have 8 men in the box. This time they'll try to run right with Tofield. Breaks one tackle, gets to the outside, inside the 20 to 15. Down at the 13-yard line is LeBrandon Tofield. And right now he's put this Independence offense on his back, and he is carrying the load. And they are knocking at the door here, 1st and 10 at about the 13-yard line.
Great block that time by Phil DiMaggio, the fullback, who broke his hand earlier this week. He has it wrapped, and he's ready to go tonight. And fortunately for the Tigers, he does a good job blocking for LeBrandon Tofield. Made a good block there to spring him to the outside.
And DiMaggio offset in the backfield as an offset eye with Lionel Joseph to the low side, Williams to the high side. Antron Sieber, once again, it's Tofield left. A lot of players leading the play, cuts it back up the middle and walks into the end zone. Mark, that's number 40 on the season. An amazing season so far for LeBrandon Tofield, and he has jumped Independence out to a 6-0 lead in the first possession of this ball game.
In all of the films that the Tiger coaching staff have broken down that they received, I believe 4 in all, every team that has played them has gotten a tremendous push up front, and I think that's something they felt like they would be able to do tonight is run the football. And eventually, as we said, we keep harping on it, Winnsboro sooner or later is going to have to commit extra people to the line of scrimmage. That's going to open up Sieber and Kenny Albritton.
Whether for the extra point, they had a lot of trouble on extra points last week. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is good, I believe. So the Tigers jump out 7-0 here early in this ball game. And at this time, we'd like to thank a couple of our sponsors here. First off tonight, Ragusa's Hardware, located in downtown Independence on Main Street. Go by and see Charles Ragusa and the gang for all your plumbing, electrical, and construction needs. If you've got questions, they've got the answers at Ragusa's Building Supply. Pete's Pharmacy is your value right agency in Independence, featuring everyday low prices. At Pete's Pharmacy, we have 2 registered pharmacists on duty to give you fast, efficient service. They are completely computerized for tax and insurance records. They accept LA Medicare and most third-party insurance prescriptions. We have 24-hour prescription service. Call Peter Marto Sr. and Peter Marto Jr. at 878-6321. Pete's Pharmacy, serving the Independence area since 1970. So the Tigers have jumped out here 7-0 early in this ball game here as the Tigers marched it down the field. And what a way to start off a playoff game. You go 3 and out on your defensive side, take the ball over and just march it down the field and score. Put you in great position early in this ball game, and this Winnsboro crowd is quiet on the sidelines right now. So Sieber set to kick off, waiting the official's whistle. And what a lot of folks here from Independence. Must not be a person left in town down the road there. And this one kick is off to the right, will be fielded at about the 18-yard line and stepped out of bounds there. So for the second possession, the Winnsboro Wildcats will take over inside their 20-yard line. So right now they have to come out and establish something on offense, because if you let this Tiger team get ahead, it's going to be a long, long night for the Wildcats.
Daryl Sieber, I'm surprised the first 2 kickoffs with a strong gusty wind out of the north at his back that he didn't put him in the end zone, but he has a habit of missing them every now and then, kind of hitting the side of the ball, and he did it right there. Fortunately, Rose caught the ball, stepped out of bounds, and as you mentioned, a fine contingent up from South Louisiana, from all over South Louisiana, as we have fans spread throughout, and they made the trip up, and glad to see that Tiger support.
So first down and 10 for the Wildcats. Williams turns, and it looks like it's going to be Will Hyde up the middle. Nice little hole there and a great tackle there by Devarius Best, the safety, as he came up and stopped him after about a 4-yard gain. But he did get through the line of scrimmage there.
Well, Joe Levine, the defensive backs coach for Independence before the game, really stressed that the defensive backs will be a vital part in stopping the run of Winnsboro tonight because their backs are so elusive and can break tackles. They've done it all year long. A lot of times without very good blocking, they're able to break tackles and break contain and take it the distance, so they'll be very important in stopping the run tonight.
Picked up 5 on first down, 2nd and 5. This time it's Rose to the left side, gaping hole. Lionel Joseph comes up to make the tackle, but only after he stretches the ball out to the 35-yard line and picks up a first down for the Wildcats. So right there on 2 consecutive plays, the Tigers' defensive line let them open up a hole there, and they gained a good 8 yards there, and they'll have 1st and 10 at the 35.
I'm not sure, but it looked like the right defensive end for Independence maybe got upfield just a little too much for that time, was kicked out. Rose was able to find a hole and cut it back in. And these backs are very good, Darrell. You're going to see that tonight. And if you think this score is going to stand like it is, we're in for a long one.
Both scoring on both sides of the football we look forward to. This time it's Rose to the left side. He's got a little push, and he is driving the bigger back of the two, and he's going to pick up about 4 or 5 yards there. So right now the Wildcats come out and do what they needed to do, which is get something going on offense, because you don't want to put the ball back in this Tiger team's offensive hand, because, you know, I really don't think that Winnsboro is going to be able to slow them down on offense. Barring turnovers, I think they're going to put a lot of points up, and it's going to be who outscores who tonight in this ball game. So 2nd down and 5 for the Wildcats. Williams looks over the defense. They have 2 receivers split, one to the low and one to the high. Night and scored, and they will take over for their second possession. Right now, we'd like to thank the Raw Oak, located in Seville Plaza, is locally owned and operated by David Albin. The Raw Oak carries polo by Ralph Lauren, Nautica, and a full line of suits and sport coats. They also have formal wear for your prom, formal wedding, or special occasions. They have special wedding packages available for all your tuxedo needs. It's the Raw Oak, the best fit in town. So 1st down and 10 from the 27. Tofield the lone setback with DiMaggio in the slot. They will turn, this time Tofield to the right side. He's got DiMaggio leading the way. Good block. He gets to the outside with Albritton blocking up front. Brings it out across the 50, down to the 44-yard line. And, folks, the Independence blocking has been phenomenal. And right there we saw DiMaggio leading the sweep and did a great job kicking the guy to the inside.
Well, just a counter sweep back the other way. This time it's the back side or the left side of the offensive line. And Kerry Watkins and Brett Anzalone pulling. Also DiMaggio getting a great block. And I can't say it enough, the Independence offensive line getting at least a 5-yard surge at the point of attack. And if you can continue to do that all night long, it will be a long night for Winnsboro defensively.
And, folks, I don't know if you could tell it from my voice, but every time the little Brandon, the real deal Tofield, touches the ball, people get excited because he makes it.
Side or defensive end or linebacker, whichever it was, and forced Sieber to the outside, basically wrecked the play in the backfield, forced Sieber to run, but he has scrambling ability and picked up 2 or 3 yards.
And this is Darrell Smith along with Mark Willoughby and our cameraman, Catfish Phil. Missing the action tonight is merely Morgan. Morgan couldn't make the trip tonight. As they will turn and hand the ball to Tofield off the left side, breaks 2 tackles, runs over another man, and will pick up the first down at about the 33-yard line. And we talked about it last week, Mark. Antron Sieber has the ability to throw the football, moving to his left better than any right-hand quarterback I've seen in some time.
Well, the key, Darrell, is getting the feet and the shoulders turned, and he has such quick feet and such a quick release that he's able to square his body up. But the biggest thing he's able to do is see backside receivers when running away from the play. Does that as well as anybody, too. He almost has eyes in the back of his head at times, and can't say enough about the talents that Antron Sieber has, just a junior.
Sieber will turn, this time Tofield to the right side. Got blockers out front, cuts it back up the seam, got a little hole, get down to the 20-yard line. Pick of about 8 or 9 yards. And right now, LeBrandon Tofield has holes in front of him that you could drive a truck through.
We're going to see what kind of shape he's in, Darrell, as he will get the football tonight, and you have to give it to him when you're getting 8, 9, 10, 12 yards per carry. And until they show they can stop the run, the Tigers are going to have to stay with it. And once that happens, you'll see Sieber open up and throw the football.
And right now, throwing the football has not been necessary as this offensive line is just moving him out. And we see number 89 lined up at fullback. That's David Copeland, a defensive player. So something odd here we hadn't seen too much this year. Fakes a toe peel to the left, trying to send Albritton up the slot. And it will be a keeper for Sieber, and he goes down at about the 15-yard line, picks up 5 yards on the scramble. And something that we've noted with Sieber, he's kind of slight in build, and they tell him, look, when you're about to get hit, get down, get out of bounds, don't take any shots.
Antron listed at about 170 pounds. Yeah, he may be 165 or 170 soaking wet. He is tall, about 6'6'1", but has a lot of upside. He'll grow some more. And he was 5'8" last year, Darrell, 145, so he's already put on some weight, but he is slight of build. But very strong, surprisingly strong for that size.
Once again here, Copeland, the fullback, I formation with Tofield. Joseph to the top of your screen, Albritton to the bottom. They fake the Tofield again, rolling Sieber left, looking to the end zone, throws it behind the man, and I'm not sure if he was throwing to Joseph or Quentin Weatherford, the tight end, coming up on the post pattern, but he threw it between them, and it'll be incomplete, bringing up a 3rd and 5.
Not sure if Lionel Joseph, the receiver to that side, knew what the play was. It looked like he didn't break out of the route. He might have been looking to stalk block. I'm not sure if that was the case or not, but Sieber did a nice job right there, Darrell. Nobody open. He was able to throw it away, find the void spot, and he also does that very well. He doesn't like to throw interceptions, and he will throw it away when he has to.
And reminds me a lot of Alvin Lee for Hammond last year, as he doesn't get sacked very often. Young man has great escapability there. So once again, the offset I, DiMaggio back in as the fullback, Tofield the deep back. They will turn this time, hand to LeBrand off the left side. He got great vision as he cuts it back up the middle, will score, but there is a flag down, and that is in the area holding. We'll have to await the call here as the flag came in from the defensive backfield, and that will be the call, holding against the Tigers. As we saw the great vision of LeBrand Tofield, the play was set up to go outside. He saw the seam back up the middle and cut it back and scored. But they'll march him back 10 yards, bringing up a 3rd and 15.
There may very well have been a hold on that play. We're not on the field. We can't see it. But I will tell you this. Anytime an offensive line is getting that kind of surge up front, officials almost have to suspect holding. And unfortunately for the Tigers, they went ahead and threw the flag. Generally, most officials, when a drive is being sustained of that caliber, this is some 70-yard drive, they usually won't throw the flag that deep into a drive, but right there, obviously, somebody tackled someone, and thus the holding call.
So with 3:19 to go in the first quarter, Tigers lead at 7-0. This time it's Tofield up the middle, and for the first time, he's hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped. So it'll bring up about a 4th and 10 here, decision time for the Tigers, as the clock ticks around 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And they're in the muddy part of the field. It'll be seriously doubtful they try to go for a field goal here, as we see Williams trot back in, and they will go for it on 4th down. And look for Sieber to put the ball in the air here.
Tough drive here for Independence, able to get that touchdown, having it called back, and you really would like to go up 2 scores in a ball game where you're playing a high-scoring opponent, such as a Winnsboro. So this is a very big play right here for Independence.
Tofield the lone setback. Albritton to the bottom of the screen. They fake it to Tofield. Sending Williams on the out route. He's got him open, and Sieber drills it once again. He breaks a tackle. Williams headed for the end zone. Will be down, and he will score. And Antron Sieber put the football in the money once again. The Tigers jump out 13-0.
Antron Sieber once again rolling to his left, getting the shoulder square, throwing over a linebacker who actually got out in the flats. But credit Rod Williams for selling that deep route, Darrell, on the comeback outside. Caught the football right around the first down marker. I'm not sure if he would have had the first down, but credit the great run after the catch to be able to get into the end zone. Rod Williams, very underrated receiver for this ball club. The possession receiver to counteract Kenny Albritton.
And he's made a lot of big plays here as we see Quentin Weatherford line up for the extra point. Williams also the holder for the extra points. 2:27 to go here. Tigers looking to go up 14-0, attacking on the extra point. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it is away. And I do not know how that one didn't get blocked, as a man came right up the middle and just ran right by the football.
That's been a problem with the Independent special teams with their field goal unit all year, has been the rush from the middle. And I'm not sure if possibly the 2 guards aren't sealing off, stepping down like they're taught to do, or what, because right there he came through clean. How he didn't block it, of course, I don't know either.
And this time we'd like to thank Paul's Pharmacy, locally owned and operated by Paul and Francis Durnan. They accept most major health plans and offer patient counseling and computerized prescriptions. Their store hours are from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Team up with a winner, because at Paul's, we care about you and your health. Also, Petro Truck Stop, Iron Skillet Restaurant, and Lucky Jack's are located across I-12 from the Hammond Square Mall. Go by and see Jack Raffel, a major sponsor of high school athletics. So the Tigers have scored on 2 consecutive possessions here to come out to a 14-0 lead with 2:27 to go in the first quarter. Sieber comes up for the kickoff. This one he drills, and it is clear out the end zone. Finally got his foot in one, as we talked about. The young man has done a fine job all year. So once again, the Winnsboro Wildcats will start at their own 20-yard line, and if they don't get something going on this series, it could be a real long night for them, as Independence looks like they're going to be able to move the football at will against them.
Well, we talked about the last series being a key defensive stop for Independence. This one right here could be the key defensive series of the game. If they can hold Winnsboro without a score here, get the ball back, and go down and tack on another score, it'll really make things tough for the Wildcats. But like we said, Winnsboro very potent. They're capable of breaking at the distance at any time, and they like to use a lot of trickery, so we may see them resort to that as this ball game progresses.
So the Tigers on defense, they have shut down this Winnsboro offense so far in the ball game. Williams looks over. He will turn and looking to throw the football, trying to go deep, and this one's thrown straight up in the air, but Albritton doesn't see it, and the receiver falls down, and no flag there. Albritton had him well covered. The pass underthrown, and the receiver was able to turn and get to it, but Albritton never saw it. So right there we saw the quarterback trying to throw deep and just put the ball straight up in the air. So, you know, you got to figure that he has a good arm, but it's going to be hard for him to throw the football.
Very easily could have been called offensive pass interference. Is right there. That play is to the tailback out of the backfield to the running back, number 10, Wilhite for Winnsboro. And Kenny Albritton did a good job once he saw a flow going the other way of picking him up out of the backfield, and that's a great coaching job by Joe Levine, who went over that before the ball game.
They hand off to Rose. He bounces to the outside. Cornerback breaks down. That's Best, and he drags him out. He's going to be close to the first down, about a yard shy. So that will bring up a third and very short for the Wildcats, and a big third down play from the Wildcats' point of view is they have got to keep the ball out of this Independence offense's hands, because they are very explosive and have scored on the first 2 possessions.
And again, right there, Bobby Rose doing what he does best, bouncing the play outside. And as we said, Winnsboro doesn't do a real good job up front blocking, but they do a good enough job getting in your way and letting those backs cut off of what would be an open seam when the defense has to be spread out. So good job right there by Rose to break it outside.
Big defensive play here. We see McLean bouncing around up in the middle looking, and they will turn and fake the pitch and hand it off up the middle, and there is nowhere to go. I don't think they got it there. Antoine Courtney and Copeland stuff up the middle. So once again, it will bring up a 4th and 1 at their own 29-yard line, and we'll see what the call is going to be for the Wildcats here. Down 14 early here with only 1:16 to go. Do you gamble and go for it, or do you have to punt it away and hope that your defense can stop them?
Well, Winnsboro, you have to punt the football in this situation, but right there, very surprising that the Wildcats chose to run a trap right there into the Independent strength. Any of the yards that Winnsboro's gotten tonight has been bouncing it outside, and right there it was kind of a curious call, but you could look for a fake right here.
And it is up, and the punt is going to be away, and this young man punts the ball very high, and you'll see the Tigers just get away from it, and it almost hits the Tiger in the back. It does not, so the Tigers will take over 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. And wait a minute, we're going to wait the officials' call here. Winnsboro's trying to say it hit the player. From our vantage point, it did not look like it hit him. Awaiting the officials' calls here as they conference at midfield. This could be a crucial call early in this ball game.
Darryl, that's the correct call, because neither official saw it hit an Independence Tiger, and if you do not see it actually hit the defender, you have to call the safe call, and that is to say that it didn't. And right there, they did a nice job of making that play. It may very well have hit Devarius Best in the back. We can't see it from here. We're some 100 yards from the football, from the play.
And from our vantage point, it did not look like it hit him, so a good call. Break goes the way of the Tigers there, as they will turn, and this time it's Tofield to the right side. A little penetration by the defense, but he cuts it back a la Emmett Smith and drives down for about a 10-yard gain. And even though it looks like the Wildcats are coming up and forcing some plays, the cutback ability of Tofield is still making yardage out of nothing.
Darryl, as we said earlier, Winnsboro has now committed 10 to the run. right there, 10 men in the box. The free safety was basically a fourth linebacker that time, and that's what they're going to have to do to stop the run. That will open up the pass because they're going to have to play man on the outside. But right there, Independence able to get a push as they did last week against Plaquemine, even against 10 in the box, and that's because of the cutting ability of LeBrandon Tofield. A great back can cut if you get somewhat of a push and get a seam. A great back will do the rest.
And 10 yards on the carry as they measure for the first down, and the Tigers pick it up. So once again, with only 28 seconds to go here in the first quarter, Tigers marching once again.
You'll see offensive coordinator Keith Corona by formation try to get Winnsboro out of 10 in the box. Right here we see a slot to the right, so good job by Keith Corona getting them out of that 10 in the box mode.
Sieber back to throw, got the out pattern to Albritton. Nobody close, turns, puts it upfield, makes one move inside the 26 and be down at about the 27, 26-yard line. So a nice call there, as when he caught the football, he was expecting a hit, and there wasn't anybody close to him.
Something Independence hasn't really done much this year, and that's line Albritton up in the slot and throw the out to him. Usually they'll throw the deep comeback off of the waggle play, but right there they're able to hit him on the slot route. And do we have a flag?
We have a flag on this sideline. We were blocked from our view. It was the line judge made the call there. So we will see what the call is going to be. They're talking to Winnsboro, so thinking is it's got to be against the Tigers here, so we'll wait for the call. An eligible man downfield as one of the linemen had crossed the line of scrimmage before the pass, and that will back them up here. So the Tigers, after a nice play, and, you know, they ran that play to the muddy side of the field. It's a 5-yard penalty, bringing up 1st and 15. So as we click down, there's only 10 seconds left here to go in the first quarter. We should get one more play here, and the Tigers lead it 14-0.
That may have well been called on Albritton, possibly lining up on the line of scrimmage, depending on whether the official said he was on or off. And if he goes out for pass, he's covered, and he would be ineligible. So we're not sure if that was a lineman downfield or Albritton.
This time they're going to send Kenny Albritton to the left side, and he comes around there, and there's one man in the backfield, and he's going to be dropped for a 5-yard loss. And now there is a spot mark down there. The Tigers allowed defensive penetration there, and the man made the play, and they dropped him for a 5-yard loss, so they'll back him up here. It'll be 2nd and a long 20, as that's the end of the first quarter here, and the Tigers lead it 14-0. Right now, we'd like to thank another one of our sponsors. Ross Downing Chevrolet is located on South Morrison Boulevard in Hammond. The new 1998 vehicles are in and ready for you. Go by and see the friendly folks at Ross Downing and test drive one of these 98s. Put yourself in a new ride for the holidays from Ross Downing Chevrolet. Also, S&S Sports Center, your locally owned and operated sporting goods store, serving the area for over 15 years. They carry sports apparel, shoes, equipment, and they do silk screening, and they have a full-service embroidery center with the quickest service around. Go by S&S and get your favorite high school, college, or pro apparel. That's S&S Sports Center for all your sporting needs. So the teams will change ends here, as the Tigers will moving from right to left here, and they are backed up on a good 2nd and long, and it's going to be about 2nd and 20 for the Tigers, as we will have to wait to change the move. And, you know, it's kind of hard to look in your playbook and get a 2nd and 20 call, but look for him maybe just try to pick up maybe 8-10 yards and get himself in 3rd down territory.
And Darrell, right here, Independence going against a pretty stiff wind, so that's going to play a big factor in throwing the football. But the last play, the reverse, that's either going to be a hit or miss play, because Winnsboro's coming hard off of that end, and either the guy runs too far upfield, you cut inside, or get around him, or he wrecks it in the backfield. Unfortunately for the Tigers, he was able to get him for a 5-yard loss.
And we want to thank Mark Willoughby for coming out tonight. I had to call him out the bullpen, as Merely Marty could not make the trip. He's on injured reserve this week, suffering from a sore back, so he's out at A meet covering that game, which is a home game. Tofield on the draw play up the middle, and nowhere to go there. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, dropped for no gain there, so we'll bring up 3rd and 20 here. And right now it seems like Winnsboro is doing a better job against the offensive line of the Tigers.
Right there, a tough call, because a play right there, because Winnsboro's not getting any type of push up the middle, and as a result, against the draw play, they're basically stuck right where they can make the play. So a tough play right there. That's one of Independence's best plays they've ever had in the history of Independence High School, is the draw play. And right there, unfortunately, didn't spring it, but right now, 3rd down and 19.
So Sieber will look over the defense. Albritton to the high side, Williams to your low side. Ball rests at the 49-yard line of Winnsboro. Sieber dropping back to pass. He's got Albritton on the fly pattern. He has got a little bit of a step, and just ticked out of his hands by the defender. It would have been a tough catch, but the ball was right there, and that will force Independence to punt the football for the first time tonight.
And great coverage by the quarterback, Russell Williams, who showed great ability to stay with Kenny Albritton. And Albritton almost making a heck of a catch, but what a throw by Antron Sieber against the wind. And he laid that ball right where it needed to be, but right here, a big play by Winnsboro to force Independence into a punting situation. Now they're going to have the wind. That should open up their passing game. And right here, another big series coming up for the Independence defense.
So Quentin Weatherford, number 80, if he will be set to punt, he stands at his own 40-yard line. Set deep to receive is Williams, the quarterback. He stands at his own 13-yard line. Weatherford, a very good punter, gets this one away. A line drive kick to the left side, and that one is angled out of bounds, and not a very good kick on that one, as it will be spotted at the 23-yard line for the Wildcats. So they take over for their their fourth possession here, and they have yet to been able to establish anything. Got a couple of first downs on the second series, but really haven't established anything through the air, and pretty soon the Tigers are going to realize that and come up and force them to throw the football.
I'm sure right there, Darryl, that if Weatherford had it to do over again, he probably would have went ahead and popped that ball down the middle, maybe pooched it, or try to hang it up as high as he can. You have the wind in your face, so you can go ahead and hammer that ball from the 50-yard line. He tried to angle it out of bounds and hit it off the instep of his foot, knocked it out to 24, thus Winnsboro getting pretty good field position.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at the 23-yard line. Williams dropping back to pass with the wind this time, trying to throw it deep once again. Two-man back there, and a great catch. And I got to tell you something, the Tigers had great coverage there. The ball was tipped up, and the receiver, I can't get his number there. That's going to be Mario Levy, comes down with the football. So not a bad defensive play, but the Winnsboro Wildcats finally get a break and connect on a big pass play, set them up at the 28-yard line for 1st and 10.
That's what we talked about. Winnsboro has big play capability. They have probably the best athletes that Independence has played this year on offense, and we see them utilize them there. And a big play can get you right back in the ball game, and that's what happened, even though Independence was there to make the play.
They pitch the ball. They come with the reverse to this side, and it's going to be strung out, and Charles Tofield read it and dropped him for about an 8-yard loss. And we've seen this happen time after time this year. The Tigers give up a big play, but then the defense steps up and shuts them down. And on first down, they drop them for an 8-yard loss, as we saw Winnsboro go to the trick play, try to bring the reverse.
If that has been one Achilles heel for the Independence Tigers this year, Darryl, has been the big play. We know Kentwood scored on 2 big plays. Meat scored on a big play, and of course, Salmon scored after a turnover, but Independence all year long has been pretty good at forcing teams to drive the football, and occasionally, every once in a while, a big play will occur, but that happens to any defense during the course of the season.
And the sad part, he was in position to make the play. There's a flag down as they try to throw deep once again. It's well covered one more time as the quarterback is dropped, and there is a flag down in the area of holding once again, and I believe this one's going to go against the Wildcats. And Williams stuck back and threw it up high again. He's getting way too much air in his passes, and they put a lick on him, and he's still on the ground. Do not think he's hurt, but he took a pretty good shot there.
Well, Darryl, Williams has a great arm. Independence's defensive backs, and I'm sure everybody knows they're not very tall. They're 5'6", 5'7" at best, and they're great players. They'll really run and they really hit, but they are susceptible to a taller receiver that's a good athlete. When you just hang the ball up, it's do or die, and Winnsboro, having some trouble running the football, are just going to resort to that, I'm sure, to try to get back in this ball game. They'll throw it up and see what sticks.
3rd and 17 from the 35 for the Wildcats, and it was a chop block, and the Independence Tigers declined the penalty, setting them up in 3rd and very long here. So we'll see what Winnsboro comes up. They have 2 receivers to the bottom half of your screen. Once again, Williams looking to throw the football. Here comes big Antoine Courtney. They miss him, but he's going to run to his own man and be dropped for a 3-yard loss. It was Nathan Hatfield and Keith McLean, but Antoine Courtney came to the right side and forced him back up the middle, and the pursuit took over.
Right there, Don Drake and, Nathan Hatfield did a nice job of hemming in the quarterback, Williams. He is outstanding scrambling, Darryl. He has scored numerous touchdowns this year from long distances, scrambling when the play is broken up and blown up in his face. So Winnsboro scores a lot of times not necessarily the conventional way. They'll score via great athletes making big plays, and that's what you have to eliminate, or that's what you worry about if you're Sammy Messina, the defensive coordinator.
And the Tigers bring in LeBrandon Tofield and Antron Sieber as they go to the dime package. knowing that on 3rd and 20 they will have to, they're punting the football, but they're lined up as they're expecting a fake. And here is the fake. Williams to the left side, and there's a lot of white shirts over there. McLean in on the tackle, and they didn't get anywhere close, picked up 10 yards on the play, so the Tigers will take over at the 30-yard line, 1st and 10.
Really nothing to lose right there. If you're Donnie Easterling, the head coach at Winnsboro, you're already at the 35-yard line. May give the athlete a chance to take a shot at it, even though Independence was playing for the fake, but he is a great athlete. He can break tackles, and if he busts a tackle there, he may score. So not a bad try there by Winnsboro. They have nothing to lose. They're down 14 points. A punt into the end zone, 10-yard difference, no big deal.
But a great job there as the Tigers were lined up in a defensive set, not in a punt return package, expecting the fake. They got it, they shut it down, and they'll take over on offense for the 4th time. 8:41 to go here in the half. They lead it 14-0. Sieber turns, pitches to Tofield, trying to get to the outside, waiting for his blocking, and he slips a little bit as he tries to cut it upfield. As we talked about, this side of the field being very muddy, and he'll pick up about 4 yards there. But LeBrandon Tofield does a great job of waiting for his blockers to set up, then he explodes through the hole.
Right there, probably waited a little too long. He had the outside, had he sprinted to the outside. Sometimes he likes to make that extra cut and thus runs back into the flow, and that's what he did right there. Probably could have picked up possibly a few more yards had he stayed outside, but that is the soggy part of the field. But credit Winnsboro right there for flowing down the line of scrimmage and stopping him to a 4-yard gain.
Offset I with DiMaggio at fullback. 2 receivers to the high side. Here they go off the right side as Tofield right off tackle, hit down hard, will pick up about 2 or 3 yards, setting up about a 3rd and a long 3 here. So right now they're just running LeBrandon Tofield off tackle, but the holes aren't quite as big as they were early on.
Well, obviously Winnsboro's having a chance to see their offensive package, and anytime you do things repetitively, defenses get a chance to adjust. They pick up tendencies of the offensive linemen, and Winnsboro doing a much better job here as this game's starting to settle down here with 7.5 minutes to go in the first half.
But what a good job by the Tigers to come out early and stake themselves to a 14-0 lead here. And now as the flow goes back and forth, 3rd and a long 4 there. Sieber rolling, throwing the ball to the outside. Got his man, that's Joseph, gets to the outside, knocked out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. And Independence has lived and died with that out pattern all year, and once again they complete it when they need a big first down.
But a much different wrinkle, and you have to credit offensive coordinator Keith Corona for doing an outstanding job. They throw it out of the slot that time and run the out from the slot back instead of the wide out, and a great play right there because Winnsboro is playing that slot guy softly, and he's not able to break on the out route, and it's wide open. They could do that all night.
Sieber, 1st and 10 at the 49 as Tofield to the right side, stacked up the line, bounces to the outside, dragging folks, and he'll pick up about 3 yards on his own there as there was nowhere to go, but he drugged 2 or 3 people and picked up 3 yards. So 2nd down and 7 for the Tigers.
What Orlando Ross for Winnsboro doing a nice job of getting good contact at the point of attack and sliding down the line of scrimmage and making that play, stringing Tofield out on the counter sweep. And we see Winnsboro doing a much better job, commendable for their staff, making some adjustments against that counter sweep and also the toss and forcing Independence into some shorter gains, and that's what they have to do to stay in this ball game.
And a beautiful night here in Winnsboro as we went through some stormy weather on the way over here. Tornado watches all around, but it is a chilly, little windy night, but great football weather. This time Tofield to the left side, tries to cut back up the middle and gets stopped for about a 1-yard gain, and it will set up a 3rd and 5 for the Tigers. And right now they're not able to run the football as well as they did early on, but the passing game with Sieber has been pretty good. Look for them to go back to the air here.
Well, LeBrandon's starting to try to cut a little too soon, Darryl, instead of hitting it up in the hole like he was the first couple of series. And I think once he goes to the sidelines after this series, you're going to see Coach Johnny Santangelo get with him on that and hit that ball up in the hole because they can push that line 4 or 5 yards if he would just do that. But the Tigers are going to call a timeout here and talk about it.
So as a timeout here, we'd like to thank a couple of our sponsors. Ragusa's Hardware, located in downtown Independence on Main Street. Go by and see Charles Ragusa and the gang. For all your plumbing, electrical, and construction needs, if you've got questions, they've got the answers at Ragusa's Building Supply. Excuse me, folks. Pete's Pharmacy is your value right agency in Independence, featuring everyday low prices. At Pete's Pharmacy, we have 2 registered pharmacists on duty to give fast, efficient service. They are completely computerized for tax and insurance records. They accept Louisiana Medicard and third-party insurance prescriptions. We have 24-hour emergency prescription service. Call Pete Marto Sr. or Jr. at 878-6321. Pete's Pharmacy, serving the Independence area since 1970. Also, the Royal Oak, located in Seville Plaza, is locally owned and operated by David Albin. The Royal Oak carries Polo by Ralph Lauren, Nautica, and a full line of suits and sport coats. They also have formal wear for your prom, formal wedding, or special occasions. They have special wedding packages available. For all your tuxedo needs, it's the Royal Oak, the best fit in town. So the Tigers will come out here, set down for about a 3rd and 5, and with only 5:54 to go here in the second quarter, leading 14-0, this could be a big first down as they could drive down and score to go up 3 touchdowns. It would put Winnsboro in a big hole as there will not be a lot of time left in this half. So Tofield to the right side, DiMaggio leading the block. He'll have the first down, gets to the outside, runs over Williams, and gets down to the 26-yard line. And we've seen the cutting and the speed, and there we saw the power of LeBrandon Tofield.
Well, a great call once again by Keith Corona. I can't say enough. What they did that time is go to the power I and run the zone out of the power I. What you do is you force Winnsboro in tight. You bring their cornerback in, and what happens if the fullback leads around and Tofield can bounce the play, which he did, there's nobody out there. When they're spread out running that play, they're able to close it down, which they were able to do earlier. But right there, a great call to pick up the first down.
And we don't have the stats here, but I'm assuming right at this point Tofield already has over 100 yards in this ball game. 5:45 to go. The Tigers with the big backfield in there. Antoine Courtney and DiMaggio leading the play around the left side. The power play. Tofield just follows them down and will pick up about 6 or 7 there. And right now they've gone to power football here as the Wildcats seem to have closed up the middle a bit, and they went to the outside with a big power package.
Well, once again, what it does is it forces them to constrict or bring their defense in, and you get big Antoine Courtney and Phil DiMaggio leading that play around with Tofield's speed and power. That's just tough to stop if you're Winnsboro when you're giving up that big push as it is. And it's just a great adjustment by Independence, counteracting the adjustment of Winnsboro, who's bringing that extra guy up to the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 3, and the Tigers with the power backfield. Now it's McLean and Courtney, the linebacker and the defensive lineman leading the way. Everybody in the box for the Tigers. And they're going to fake it, and we're going to look for big Courtney to the outside. They threw this one last week. And look at the big man layout for the football. It did hit the ground, came up empty. But look at what an athlete Antoine Courtney is as he laid out a la Jerry Rice for that one.
Darryl, he is a great football player, and he will be a great player somewhere next year for some school. He is a tremendous athlete, could play offense, could be a great tight end if he were to play, and he would be Independence's backup tight end should something happen to Quentin Weatherford. Has very soft hands, runs great routes, and he runs a 4.940 at 270 pounds. So he's a great player, and he's the type of guy that, God forbid, one day nothing happens to him. He could see him playing on Sundays.
Power backfield once again. McLean and Courtney to the right side. Hand off to Tofield. He's hitting the backfield, breaks one tackle, but he's going to be stopped short after about a yard or a yard and a half, and it'll bring up a 4th down and about 3. And leading 14-0, clock ticking down, under 4:45 to go here in the second quarter. The Tigers will go for it here as they bring Williams back in and Weatherford trots out. So let's see what they're going to come up with here. Which is a big 4th down play. The Wildcats have to step up and stop them here. So the Tigers looking to put an early nail in the coffin here as they're trying to give the knockout blow early. Antron Sieber, power backfield once again with one receiver to the high side. It's Williams. And they're going to hand it to Tofield off the right side. He's going to bounce it, doesn't have the first down, drives forward. It's going to be very, very close. From this angle, it looks like he's going to have it by about a yard. So it will be 1st down and 10 inside the 20-yard line for the Tigers. And what a big play there as momentum keeps going for the Tigers.
Well, great job to pick up the first down. Shows a lot of confidence. Keith Corona right there going back to that full house backfield. A lot of confidence to be able to pick up the first down on 4th and 4 without having to throw it. And once again, Tofield with a nice cut right there at the end to pick up the first down. Again, occasionally he does have a tendency to try to bounce it a little too soon, but I tell you what, he's running well tonight.
And he's had his hands on his hips the last couple plays in the huddle. Looks like he might be a little bit tired, but what a workhorse he is. He is a single back in this set. Sieber, they will fake it to Tofield. He's trying to throw the out pattern once again to Williams. Little bit high, but a great catch by Williams. Rod Williams down at the 5-yard line sets up 1st and goal for the Tigers, and he went up and got that one.
Darryl's a great catch, no question about it, by Rod Williams, who is a very good receiver. Doesn't get the credit that Albritton gets because he doesn't make the big plays. But I tell you what, the throw may have been as great as the catch because the only person who could have caught that football was Rod Williams right there, and he did a great job selling the inside play and run that out route, and a great catch puts Independence first and goal at the 4-yard line.
And I got to tell you something, folks. Sieber on that out route all year long has put it right in the numbers. This time this one went a little high, but a great catch by Williams. Offset eye backfield. They will hand off to Tofield off the left side. He just goes straight forward and drives it into the end zone. The real deal is struck again, and the Tigers jump out to a 20-0 lead in Winnsboro. And we're on the Winnsboro sideline on top of the press box, and it is mighty quiet over here as they look stunned at the power. They are surprised at the power of this Tiger football team as they have just ran it down the throats here tonight.
Darryl, this is the point in the ball game where Independence cannot afford to get a complacent as Kerry Watkins looks to be down with either a knee or a hamstring injury. But Independence cannot afford to become complacent up 21-0 or 20-0 right now pending the extra point. But the Tigers, you don't want to go on a lull. You don't want to give Winnsboro a score right before the half. Let them have momentum going in because they are capable of big plays. So a 21-point lead is nothing to a team of this caliber. Last week, West Feliciana was up 28-20, actually 28-14 at one point in the first half in that game. West Feliciana shut out in the second half. Winnsboro wins 42-28. Coach Charles Baglio is very wary of that fact. So are this coaching staff, and I'm sure they'll adjust accordingly in the locker room.
And as we await the injury report, we're going to remind you of a few of our sponsors here. Paul's Pharmacy is locally owned and operated by Paul and Frances Durnan. They accept most major health plans and offer patient counseling and computerized prescriptions. Their store hours are 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Team up with a winner because at Paul's we care about you and your health. Petro Truck Stop, Iron Skillet Restaurant, and Lucky Jack's are located across I-12 from the Hammond Square Mall. Go by and see Jack Rafael, a major sponsor of high school athletics. Ross Downing Chevrolet, located on South Morrison Boulevard. Go by and see Dudley Downing and Barry Beck and the whole gang over there. Big Independence booster, Kurt Michon. The 98s are in. Go by, go take one out for a test drive. They'll cut you a great deal down there. Go by and see them at Ross Downing Chevrolet. Wouldn't it be nice to have a new ride for the holidays? As we line up for the extra point, last time they allowed Winnsboro to come up the middle, he missed it. He missed the block, but he was there for it. So we'll see if they block a little better on this one and can tack on the extra point to send the lead to 21-0. And Mark, you were very much correct there. This is the time in the ball game when your defense wants to step up, don't get complacent, and go back in a prevent. We don't want any score before halftime. You have this one as they will look like a fake there and go for two. And Williams comes out, throws it to Tofield. And, when it's 20-0, you go for two. I don't know about the call there, but it worked. And I guess when it works, you look like a genius.
Well, that's a big big two-point conversion. Like we said, you don't want to let Winnsboro back in the game. That could play a factor later in the game. But not sure if Rod Williams bobbled the snap right there. That's an automatic fire call. If he does bobble, can't get it on the ground. It is cold, windy. Possibly he didn't have a handle on it. It's an automatic play. And it's wide open. You got to take him. It's in the playoffs, Darryl. You can't let up against anybody in the playoffs. Sometimes you may say, hey, is it running up the score? No, this is the first half. You've got to go for the juggler in the playoffs.
Well, I'm not sure if it was a fumble snap or if it was a call, as they might have been worried about having one blocked after, last week not converting on 3 attempts and this week having one that the guy should have blocked as he came up the middle. So whether by accident or design, it works, and the Tigers lead at 22-0 with 3:19 to go here. So the Tigers will kick off this time, going this time once against the wind as Sieber lines them up here. Set deep to receive is Williams, Rose, and Wilhite. And Sieber, a squibber down the right side. Rose will pick it up at about the 22. There looks like they're going to try to reverse as Rose came back across the field and then cuts back the way he came. Gets it out to the 28-yard line. So with 3:11 to go in the half, a desperate Wildcat team will come out on offense desperately. They got to get something on the board here before halftime because, like you talked about, they came down, shut out West Feliciana in the second half last week. I don't think that's going to happen against this Tiger team. That's just my opinion, but they're going to need to get a lot of points here if they're going to get back in this football game, and they got to start right here on this possession.
And as I said earlier, you have to avoid complacency right here in this situation. The defense has to rise every possession against this Winnsboro team because the more desperate they become, the more desperate things they try, and that's when big plays happen. When you start throwing the ball up at the wall and seeing what sticks, that's when the big plays happen.
Two receivers to your high side of your screen. They bring one in motion. This time it will be a pitch to Will Height to the left side. Blockers out front. And Antoine Smith comes through the hole, forced him, could not make the tackle. But that was number 5, Devarius Best there, as he knocked him out of bounds after a gain of about 5. Antoine Smith broke through the line there and had a shot at him, but missed him. And excuse me, once again, number 5 and number 6, Bonds and Best, are like mirror images of each other. I keep getting the names wrong, but that was Bonds forced him out of bounds. But they picked up 5 on first down and stopped the clock.
Darrell, that's a play the coaches were very concerned with because of the speed of the tailback Will Height. And the way they block out on the outside when they send that man in motion, that's a pretty good job holding him to a 6-yard gain. They'll take that on first down up 22 points.
They hand the ball off the left side. The big man, Don Drake, corrals him and slams him to the ground. And when you get wrapped up by 315 pounds, you're going down.
And that is the strength of the Independence defense, is that middle front three. Don Drake, 315 pounds. He is a rock and a mountain of a man to move. Antoine Courtney and Derek Hunter also, I believe, I'm not sure if Mulkey's in the game right now or not, but they are very hard to move. And the only way you can attack Independence generally with any success is on the perimeter and with play action. And that's how teams have been successful this year, or making a big play breaking tackles. They really have had very little success going right at the heart of this Tiger defense.
And right now, only 3 linemen. That would be Hunter, Drake, and Courtney, and everybody else in the package. And there's Antoine Smith, but Williams eludes him. There's that athletic ability. And there's a clip right there. This one will come back, folks, as he gets out for the first down. But they're going to bring this one back. A blatant clip against Tofield in the backfield will negate that first down. But I got to tell you something. Smith had him in the backfield, and we saw what an athlete Williams is. He just broke free and almost made a big play for the Wildcats.
Well, no better illustration of Williams' ability right there, Darrell, a sophomore. And we said it coming up here. The Tiger coaches knew it. These are the finest stable of athletes offensively in the backfield that Independence has played this year. That includes Amite, Kentwood, Salmon. They are big, physical, very strong, and very fast. They all run 4.4s and 4.5s. Rose, the fullback, runs about 210. Will Height's a spark plug, about 5'9", 190. And, of course, Williams, the quarterback, 5'11", 180. And I tell you what, you saw the athletic ability there.
3rd and 14, and I don't know if we've got a shot of this earlier in the game, but what a discrepancy in the number of players. Independence has 80 players dressed out, and Winnsboro might have 40 to 45. So a huge discrepancy, but you can only play 11 at a time. Ronnie Williams looking back to throw the ball. He's got a man going deep there, and Antoine Sieber, what a play by Sieber as he dove to tip it away and caught his own tip drill, and the Tigers will get the ball with about 2 minutes to go here. And wait, do we have a call here? Is there a flag down? He came down. He did not come down with it. It looked like he had picked it off, but a great athletic play by Sieber. But they will also now force the Wildcats to punt the football, so they should get the ball with great field position with about 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, it looked like Sieber making a great effort at that ball, but it rolled up under his stomach right at the last minute. I thought it was a pretty good call by the official to call it incomplete. And right here, I'm sure the Tigers would rather force the punt here. They may get it in better field position.
Well, I got to tell you something. It was a great effort. I thought he had come down with it as the punt is away once again. A nice punt, kind of an odd punting style as Albritton over the shoulder. Gets away from the first man, cuts it back up the middle. If he can get to this side, he's got a little lane. Nice block by Tofield and gets it out to the 44-yard line. So clock stops with 1:41 to go. The Tigers lead it 22-0, and they'll get to take one more shot here. And, you know, we talked about in the last possession, you want to get as much as you can. Look for the coaches to have to try to get one more score here before halftime.
Against the dominant offense, you want to score as many points as you can. There is no tomorrow in the playoffs. You cannot worry about running up scores unless it's late in the fourth quarter. That's a different scenario. But you have got to put as much separation as you can between you and the other team. All too often we see teams that are playoff teams or good football teams get back in it. All it takes are a few big plays.
And got to have the killer instinct here as Sieber lines up. He's going to fake the ball to Tofield, looking to go right. He's got Albritton on the out pattern. It's wide open, but underthrown there as he was being pressured. But the pass was there, but only a few seconds tick off. It'll be 2nd and 10 with 1:33 to go here. Tigers went to the air there, and Sieber one-hopped it to the receiver.
Darrell, Antoine Sieber is looking backside. Quentin Weatherford, the tight end, was all by himself at about the 45-yard line and could have run for days. Probably either would have scored or came very close had he spotted him, and look for Keith Corona to come back with that play, possibly if not on this down, maybe the next one.
Well, Albritton had ran the up and out there, and they definitely were afraid of his speed. And the defender went ahead, and he ran the out, was wide open, but he couldn't get it to him. So 2nd and 10 for the Tigers. Sieber once again, this time they faked a toe field. He picks up the blitz. He's got all day to throw the football. This time it's deep over the middle to Williams, and it's going to be picked off by the Wildcats, and they will take the ball over, and they're going to get a face mask on top of it. So with a minute 20 to go here, one of those desperate situations here is you allow Winnsboro to get the football back, and they will have it out near midfield with an opportunity to score. So once again, the weight shifted back on the shoulders of the defense.
Well, right there, as we said, they came back with that same play, but Winnsboro obviously saw that as well. They made the adjustment, and they were able to have the tight end Weatherford covered. Actually was open had he hooked up, but it would have been a tough throw for Sieber. And as a result, Sieber looked off and, of course, threw that ball under the wind and hung up, and there was the interception. A big play you didn't want to have happen here right before the half. Now, if Winnsboro takes it in and gets a score, they'll have the momentum going in at halftime.
And as you said, Mark, the wind is gusting here, and I think he threw it in a gust there, and it got caught up a little bit. Williams was behind him, but he couldn't get the ball deep enough, so the Wildcats take over at the Independence 47-yard line, 1st down and 10. And the Tigers defense here going with 3 linemen and the dime package in. They send up their spread offense, 4 wide receivers and a single back. And looks like Antoine Smith creeping up on the outside. He's coming on the blitz as they throw the pass to the outside. And I got to tell you something, Mark. I watched a little conference game last weekend, and that's the same offense they ran as they just try to set the 2 receivers to make a pick on the 1 DB that couldn't complete it.
Well, that's a tough throw right there because you're throwing it some 30, 40 yards across the field, Darryl. They're on the far hash. So that's a tough play for Williams to throw, especially as windy as it is. But that was very, very close to being a lateral, probably about a 6-inch difference right there. And good call by the official. It was an incomplete pass, but Independence has seen this on film, and they're prepared for it. And a nice job defensively as they were able to break that play up.
Minute 13 to go here. Tigers lead it 22-0. And we'd like to thank S&S Sports Center, your locally owned and operated sporting goods store serving the area for over 15 years. And if you saw us earlier in the year, they did us some wonderful shirts out here. We look pretty snazzy coming out to the ball games early on, and they have a full-service embroidery center there. And I tell you what, it doesn't take them 6 weeks, 7 weeks. You come in, they're going to get you turned around, get you in and out. You'll have your stuff. So go by and see all the nice stuff they have in the store there. If you want to get it monogrammed or whatever, they are doing some great embroidery work. And for you Independence fans, if you're watching this game, they have some great Independence hats up there, so you can look very sharp going to next week's game, provided they win tonight. And so far, they're taking care of business, leading this one 22-0 in the first quarter. There's a minute 13 to go, 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats, as they got a turnover and a penalty, and it's set up shop at the Independence 47, trying to get something going. The fans are trying to bring them up as they're trying to come alive here. And the Independence Tiger fans are on their feet also. They want to keep them out of this end zone. Williams drops straight back. Smith on the blitz. They got a man over the middle. It's going to be completed and knocked down. The ball will rest at the 26-yard line as a clock is stopped with 1:05 to go here as they move the chains. So the Wildcats starting to get close to a score. The Tigers need to step up here. They're going to have to come up with a big play, but that's the first time we've seen Williams put it on the money on the pass.
And there you see the athletic ability and the arm strength, Darryl. He threw that ball on a line at least 30 yards, a great throw and a great catch by Levy. And tell you what, they're dangerous. This is a big momentum shift right here for Winnsboro. Tigers need to keep them out of the end zone.
A few minutes ago, the Tigers had the ball with 2 minutes ago and a chance to get another score, and now Winnsboro knocking on the door. Courtney comes up the middle, and Smith finally drags him down. Also, big Don Drake lays on him as Courtney came from the outside, forced him to scramble, and Antoine Smith made the play. As we'll see him take another timeout. And, you know, it's a lot early to talk about playoff scenarios, Mark, but while we got a timeout, let's talk about it. Should the Tigers win, they will play the winner of the Bruley-Notre Dame game. Should Notre Dame win, it will be back at Tiger Stadium in Independence, and should Bruley win, they will be on the road once again. So looking ahead there, Notre Dame is a very good team. The Tigers will have that one next week should they continue to win here tonight. And, you know, we talked about the brackets before. Poor A Meat plays Parkview Baptist tonight. Then they've got the winner of St. James Brobridge and then probably Evangel. Much tougher on the other side of the bracket. So this is a great shot for the Tigers to make that move to the Dome.
Well, no question. It's if you look at it on paper, a much tougher bracket. But I'm sure the Winnsboro folks here tonight are going to have something to say. But my experience, Darrell, is the playoffs are tough no matter what bracket you're in, and you have to be ready to play every week because the teams that make it to the playoffs, they're there for a reason. And even though you may be superior in talent, possibly than another club, upsets do happen. So Independent's trying to avoid that upset bug. But if they could win here today, they would play Notre Dame or Bruley next week.
So Williams rolls to the outside. Antoine Smith can't get there. McLean, he throws it over the middle, complete. We down at about the 14-yard line. They will pick up a first down. Only 30 seconds to go here. Clock stops while they move the chains. So this is going to be a ferocious last 30 seconds here. Winnsboro desperately trying to get some kind of points on the board before halftime. The Tigers defense needs to step up. They need a big play here, and they've gotten a lot of penetration but can't seem to run down the sophomore quarterback Williams, a great athlete in the backfield. 24 and counting here. Williams drops back to throw once again. Pressure comes up the middle. He throws it across, and it's going to be incomplete at about the 2-yard line, and there are 16 seconds to go, so it will be 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats as clock is stopped on the incomplete pass.
Hey, one thing Winnsboro is doing that not a lot of teams have done this year against Independence, and that is throw over the middle. They're finding some soft spots there, and the quarterback's got a strong enough arm there to fit the ball in some tight spaces, and we saw it right there. Ball was nearly completed, and it's going to be a big chore right here for Independence to keep them out of the end zone with just 16 seconds. They need a big, big defensive play.
And I'm not sure, Mark, I know Winnsboro has called 2 timeouts. I'm not sure if they have any left, but if one is completed in the middle of the field and they don't have any timeouts, it'll be tough to get another playoff. They're trying to throw the crossing route once again. This time it was great coverage there, and that was Otto Bonds on the coverage. So brings up 3rd and 10 here. The clock is stopped with 11 seconds to go. And you're right, Mark. They're trying to come with those little in routes and the crossing routes there across the middle, trying to expose the middle of the Tigers' defense. That time, great coverage.
Tell you what, if Williams makes a good throw right there, that ball's picked off and gone the other way for 6. But fortunately for Winnsboro, he was able to ground that ball, as I think he did see Otto Bonds, I believe it was, breaking on that play, and, or the safety who came up. It was either Bonds or Tofield. But once again, right there, Independence doing a nice job on defensive coverage.
3rd down and 10, 11 seconds to go here. Williams calling the plays, drop back looking to throw across the middle. He's wide open, he's going to score. And all they did was let the tight end release off the line, and Williams hit him 2 steps off the line, and he ran it in right up the middle of the defense. So what you didn't want if you're an Independence fan to happen has happened. They made the big turnover, and Winnsboro has ran down and punched it in to cut this lead to 22-6.
Well, momentum is a scary thing, Darrell, and it always changes. And anytime you give a team like Winnsboro the football at midfield, it is tough to keep them out of the end zone, especially when they're in a panic situation, which they were. And they're able to basically maintain their composure, take it down, and stick it into the end zone. So, tell you what, second half's going to be a doozy. Independence will get the ball first, but tell you what, it's going to be a long one.
Winnsboro going for the 2-point conversion. Pitch it out to Rose to the outside. He's trying to fight forward, but nowhere to go. Dragged down, so that leaves it with 6 seconds to go. The Independence Tigers 22 and the Winnsboro Wildcats 6 as we approach halftime. And, you know, all year long we've seen Independence 7 times this year, and they make great adjustments at halftime. So whatever they saw on this drive, you can bet your bottom dollar that Coach Baggs will come out and adjust his team to cover the middle of the field a little bit better.
I'm not sure right there why Winnsboro went for the 2-point conversion. An extra point makes it a 15-point ball game, and that still gives you a chance to only have to make 1 2-point conversion should you get back in it. They have a good field goal kicker or an extra point kicker in Williams. He gets the ball up pretty well and hits them pretty good, but I don't understand that because now not only do they have to score 2 touchdowns, they got to get 2-point conversions just to tie. So interesting move there on the part of Donnie Easterling, unless he was trying to play for the 13 differential, but not sure why he went for the 2 points in that situation.
And dangerous situation here. Look for maybe Winnsboro to either onside or squib kick this kick as LeBrandon Tofield is set deep, and we saw against Salmon what he can do on a kickoff return. So I'm not sure what they're going to do here. They do have a different kicker in, so look for them maybe to onside or squib it. And they try to just kick it right in the open area there. The whistle blows, and there is a flag down. Obviously, I believe the Winnsboro Wildcats ran offside before the kick was made, so that'll back them up 5 yards. And you do not want to put the ball in Mr. Tofield's hands in this situation. He could get you 6 real quick. So we'll see what the call is going to be here. I believe they're going to back it up 5 yards. And it is the offside call, dead ball call, so they will mark it back 5 and kick it again.
What it's going to do, Darryl, it's going to force Winnsboro to probably kick the ball a little bit deeper here for fear of a last desperation pass by Independence. So you'll probably see them either try to hit the ball deep or try to hit a line drive over the initial up front people.
Well, the only smart thing I've seen them do on that play is they kicked it away from Tofield. And right now there is 6 seconds to go here, 22-6. The Tigers lead it. The kick once again, it's a little squib kick, and they're going to kick it out of bounds, and it will go out at the 35-yard line. Independence will have the ball. Has no time ticked off the clock. So I'm not sure what Coach Baggs will call here, whether they'll just kneel on it and feel comfortable with this lead at halftime, or they'll take a shot down the field with 6 seconds to go.
Darryl, that was great hustle by Devarius Best, but if he would have been heads up or perhaps knew where the sideline was, he could have let that ball go out of bounds, then make him kick it again from the 30. But obviously he's trying not to let that ball fall in, and he did the right thing by falling on it. But if he would have been able to or realize where the Winnsboro defenders were and he knows that ball is going out of bounds, he could have chose to let it go out, and they could have made him kick it all over again.
And they will line up here. Kenny Albritton all alone on an island to the right side, and if they're going to cover him man-to-man over there, look for the deep pass down the right side. As Sieber drops back, they will hand it to Tofield. He will fall on it as he fumbled the snap, and that's going to take us to halftime, folks, as the Independence Tigers lead this one 22-6, but the Wildcats scored on their last possession of the half, so they have a little momentum. So we'll be back with the second half to see if the Tigers can continue on their journey to the Superdome. The Winnsboro Wildcats, after scoring the possession before the half, have a little momentum in their favor. They will be set to kick off to start the second half with the Tigers. And, you know, the Tigers need to be careful here. Maybe watch for an We're going to be real careful for an onside kick here. The Tigers need to come out here, get the opening kickoff, drive down, score, and get the momentum back in their favor as they allow the touchdown late in the first half. And the kick is away, and it will be fielded by LeBrandon. And we're experiencing some technical difficulties here, but the Tigers take over 1st and 10. Hand the ball to Tofield to the outside. We'll cut back up the seam there, running hard, gets the ball out to the 26-yard line, gains about 8 or 9 yards there. So look for the Tigers here to start the second half. They want to come out, drive down, get a score, and try to set the tempo here in the second half to regain the momentum they lost right at the very end.
Darryl, Coach Baglio in the locker room basically challenged his team to, hey, look, we can't get complacent like you did late in the first half. Hey, we made a couple of mistakes. We turn the ball over, and we don't cover the tight end on one particular play. And basically, other than that, they dominated the first half. But what you can't do is let Winnsboro come out here, get a defensive stop, and get any type of momentum. And that's what they're trying to do here is just take the football and pound it right at them.
2nd and 1. Sieber will turn, looks to hand to Tofield off the right side. Hit at the line, drives forward. Looks like he might have the first down. We'll be very close. We'll have to wait and see the spot of the official. But you're right, Mark. They want to come out here and set some kind of, dominance here that they can control the line of scrimmage as they did early on in the ball game and not let Winnsboro get back in it.
Darryl, a key here will be how the Independence offensive line adjusts. They lost Kerry Watkins in the first half with a badly sprained lower left leg. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to return or not. He was very painful in the locker room. So Gerald Whittington, I should say, will be the backup guard number 56. And pretty good football player, so hopefully he can come in and pick up where Watkins left off up front.
So first down it is for the Tigers. Eye backfield. They turn this time. They fake to Tofield. They're running the tight end Copeland out to the right side. Completed by Sieber on the money in stride. Picks up about 8 yards there. So another good first down play for the Tigers. And so far it looks like they have regrouped a little bit here And, you know, they know they're in a ball game here tonight. They want to go down and score here. They know they can't let a team like this hang around because you never know what can happen.
David Copeland, Darryl, has been a defensive end all year. Earlier this week, or they've been experimenting with him offensively all year, but this week they decided to play him. Phil DiMaggio hurt his hand, broke his hand, and he's not as effective in the pass route. Copeland, a good athlete, making a nice catch.
Once again, this side, Tofield to the right side, cuts it back up the seam, has the first down, drives out at about the 43-yard line, and the holes aren't as big as they were early on, but right now the Independence offense has gotten 2 first downs and are moving the chains right here with 9:51 to go here in the third quarter. Tigers lead at 22-6.
Right there, a good job by Tofield to hit that hole hard. He hit it with some authority and basically drove that line back. Nice job up front by the Tiger right side of their offensive line, that being Steve Mulkey and Josh Day, also the tight end Quentin Weatherford, another outstanding job.
And if he hits that hole hard, arm tackles are not going to bring this young man down, and he's always a tackle away from going the distance. Sieber looks over the defense. Tofield the lone setback. He fakes it to the right side. Sieber looking to throw here. Being pressured, gets away, has a lot of time. Throwing it deep for Albritton. He's wide open, and he gets there on a great diving catch at the 12-yard line. Albritton came all the way across the field from the right side and laid out for it and came up with the football. Big play for the Tigers there. And the key to the play was Sieber got away from the pressure.
There, I don't think people at home realize how big that play was. Albritton has a slightly pulled quadricep muscle, and hasn't been 100%. But he's a gamer, and right there made a great effort to dive for that football and a nice throw into the wind once again by Antron Sieber.
And the key here is the Tigers will have the win in the fourth quarter as they are going against it to start the second half. But a big pass play, and Albritton came all the way across the field there, and Sieber bought himself enough time to get away the pass, and they completed. So first down and 10 as they are knocking at the door of the goal line. It is 13-yard line. I backfield once again. This will be Tofield to the right side. A lot of players there. He's not going to get anywhere and will be stopped for about a 2-yard loss there. Actually make it a 4-yard loss as that play had disaster written on it from the beginning. They allowed penetration from the defensive line, and they stopped him before he could even get going.
They're hard to see what Winnsboro was doing defensively, but possibly right there they may have slanted to that side. So basically you might see here is possibly maybe a waggle back the other way. To the left. We'll see what Coach Keith Corona decides to call here.
They will bring the 2 wide receivers to the lower side of the screen. We saw him hit Albritton, who was in the slot on the out pattern a couple of times from this formation in the first half. So let's see what they go to here. Sieber under center, calls for the football. Looking to throw the football across the middle to Williams. He's going to be sacked, and there is a flag down also. And the Tigers are going the wrong way here as he has dropped it, sacked at about the 28-yard line. So we'll wait the call here. It is in the area of holding. And that is a call against the Tigers. So the Wildcats will decline this penalty, bringing up a 3rd down and 20. So right as you thought they came out and were doing the right things, they have backed up on consecutive plays, and they'll have to come up with a huge 3rd down play here to get back at least in field goal range.
Well, what you have to do right here, Darryl, is if you're the Independence Tigers, you need to call some type of play that'll get you 10 to 15. You don't have to go for the gusto here. You can still pick up a first down at the 5, but really it's 2-down territory. So right here I think you'll see some type of intermediate play, at least get him in some type of shouting range for a first down or possibly a touchdown.
Albritton to the high side of the field. Williams to the low side. The lone setback is LeBrandon Tofield. Sieber looks over the defense. They turn. They fake the ball to Tofield. He's being pressured once again, trying to get to the outside. Sieber gets rid of it. Got a man open, but could not reach him. Actually had 2 men open in the end zone, but running to his left and being pressured hard here, he could not get anything on the pass. So he'll bring up a 4th down and about 22 from the 25-yard line. So we'll see what the play call is going to be here for the Tigers.
Right there, had Rod Williams wide open in the back of the end zone, but we talked about Antron Sieber's ability to throw the ball rolling to his left. Right there, he had pressure and wasn't able to get his feet turned. If he would have got his feet turned, I think, Darryl, you would have seen him complete that pass easily for the touchdown, but as it was, just not quite enough arm strength to get that thing in the end zone. It may have slipped out of his hands. 4th down. See what the Tigers come up with here.
2 backfield set. Double receivers to the low side of your screen. And there's going to be a flag, and I believe Williams might have started a little early there. We'll wait and see the call there, so that may back up the Tigers 5 more yards. And that's going to be the call. illegal procedure against the Tigers. So after coming out and looking so good, they are literally shooting themselves in the foot here, leading at 22-6 with 7:50 to go, and not necessarily the way you wanted to start the second half, because not only will the Wildcats gain momentum by allowing a few first downs, but then putting the stop on you, they're going to get the ball back in pretty good field position here if you can't get something on fourth down.
Well, the key is 1st and 10, Darrell, is what you're able to get on 1st and 10. Independence had the big loss earlier on 1st and 10, the loss of 3. That put them in a passing situation. They get the sack, and now this play. So we'll see what they come up with here.
And once again, they jumped off sides. It's going to back them up another 5 yards, and it is just a messy series here at the end here for the Tigers as they go illegal procedure once again. It is now 4th and 30.
I would almost punt the football here in this situation. You may see Coach Baglio do that. We're not sure what he's going to do, and that is what he's going to do. He will punt the football. So back-to-back legal procedure calls on Independence. The wideouts are jumping too soon. That's what the call was. So right here I think you're going to see a punt by Quentin Weatherford.
So after the Tigers come out and look so impressive on the first couple of plays here, they stumble down in scoring position and will be forced to punt the football from the 35-yard line of the Winnsboro Wildcats. Set deep to receive is Williams. Weatherford has it, gets it up and away, angles it high and to the right, and this one's going to go out of bounds at about the 9-yard line. So a much better job by Weatherford this time, angling it out of bounds. And at this time, we'd like to thank a couple of our sponsors. Ragusa's Building Supply is located in downtown Independence on Main Street. Go by and see Charles Ragusa and them. They're getting all their stuff ready for Christmas. You got plumbing problems, electrical problems, you need to build something, go by and see them. They can help you out there. Also, Pete's Pharmacy, your value right agency in Independence. Go by and see Pete Marto Sr. and Pete Marto Jr. They're always there. 2 of them on service at all time. They'll get you in and out and get all of your needs there. Whatever you need from a drugstore, they have it there. Also, the Royal Oak in Hammond, they're located in Seville Plaza. David Albin there, they have a lot of nice stuff there. We buy a lot of our attire there. We try to look good out here every week, and David Albin and Royal Oak supplies with a lot of nice clothes there in Hammond. So 1st down and 10, they turn and pitch the ball to the outside. It's Rose. He's got positive yard. He's getting out, and we'll have a 1st down. And right away, the Wildcats come out, and, this is a dangerous spot here for the Tigers as they come out and shoot themselves in the foot and don't score, and the Wildcats look like they have a lot of momentum on their side. The crowd is back into it for them.
Right here, Darrell, the mark of a champion are those who can reach deep down inside when you're being challenged and rise up to the occasion. And if Independence wants to be champions, which they want so desperately, they're going to have to reach down within themselves. And right here we see Winnsboro doing it. They're going both ways, so some of the Independence players are going to have to right here challenge themselves and make a big stop.
2nd down and 1 yard there. It's Rose to the outside once again, and there's the big stop you were looking for as they will drop him for about a yard loss there. And a host of Independence Tigers on the tackle. We can't get all the numbers there. Hatfield in on the play, looks like one of them. And we see the officials with a group of players on the ground. Looks like they might be tangled up or somebody hurt. We'll wait and see there as they clear it out. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and 2. And, this is a big play for both sides. If you're Independence, if you can stop them here, you force them from punt deep in their end, and you'll end up with great field position. And Winnsboro wants to get that 1st down and try to keep that momentum flowing.
Obviously, Sammy Messina, the defensive coordinator for Independence at halftime, very pleased with the way his defensive team played, except for that last drive. And basically there was a breakdown where somebody forgot to cover the tight end in a switch situation, and he was wide open. Really the only breakdown all night. See if they can keep up the good work.
3rd and 2. Williams going to roll to the right. Looks like it's going to be a keeper if he can get to the outside. Chased by Copeland. Throws it to Rose off his hands. And a nice job by David Copeland to string out the quarterback and make him get rid of the football, because I think he really wanted to just turn that one up and get the 1st down. So a nice job by the Tigers defense stepping up there, and they will force Winnsboro to punt from deep in their end zone. And, Mark, late in the first half there, it looked like Winnsboro got in more of a herky-jerky, helter-skelter type game, and they were more effective. When they come out and try to run a structured offense, the Tigers defense plays well.
Well, what they were able to do is spread their athletes out, get in that panic situation, and they hit the big play where it was extremely well covered. So, they have great athletes. Anytime you have great athletes, Darrell, they can make great plays, as we saw Albritton down here to start the second half. So that's basically what the situation is. And right here, you got to watch for them on a hard count trying to pull Independence off sides.
Albritton stands at the 50-yard line, set to receive the punt here. Snap is over his head, and he's going to get it in the end zone, try to get it away. Williams is going to run, tries to throw the football, completes it to number 32, and they're going to have a first down. There is a flag down. It's probably going to be an ineligible man downfield. But once again, look at Williams, the quarterback. He is also the punter, makes a big play, and I think they're going to get called. But had the Tigers been able to get back there, they could have been a huge play here, so we'll wait and see the call. It's got to be an ineligible man downfield. And they are waving off the flag, and I don't know about this one, folks. How can you wave off the flag after you make the call? Obviously, they saw somebody downfield. And I'm not sure about this one, folks. We don't have access to what their thinking is, but they're going to give the Winnsboro Wildcats a first down, and what a huge turnaround from a punt, a snap over the punter's head to giving them a first down.
It just seems like everything's aligned right tonight for Winnsboro to pull off this upset. Things like that happen, freak plays, and that's where great teams have to be able to overcome that. And so far, Independence has been snake bit here in the latter part of the first half, early part of the second half.
Well, my point is, if you're going to throw the flag, stick with your call. Don't pull it back. I do not like that. Officials make mistakes, and they make good calls, but stick with your call, whatever it was. Rose to the left side. Great job by Charles Tofields. He came in from his cornerback position and stopped him for about a 5-yard loss. It'll bring up 2nd and 15, so the Tigers stepping up to the challenge after they feel they got hosed on a call.
Well, you know, another thing, too, on that play, Darrell, once the ball is snapped over the punter's head, if you're in a protect type of situation where you're not rushing, the defenders have to be a little bit more disciplined to watch for the fire situation where they will throw the football. What happened there is Independence went full bore after the football once they saw it on the ground. You still can't do that. You still have to play pass coverage because then it becomes a situation where they will try to throw the ball.
And throw it and complete it they did. Flag waved off, giving them a first down. The Tigers step up on first down. They will hand this one to Rose off the left side. He is corralled at the line of scrimmage. Can't see the number. It looks like 59, Big Don Drake, and also, as I'm trying to get the number of the young man, these Independence jerseys getting kind of muddy out here. Hard to see the number there. Looked like Derek Hunter to the outside. Stops him for a 2-yard gain, bringing up a 3rd and 12. So the Tigers defense trying to step up to the challenge. Big third down play here as they give them a first down on the punting situation. Let's see if they can stop them here. And the Tigers all night long have had to put the weight of the shoulders on the defense here as Winnsboro is kind of like hanging around, and what a dangerous team to let hang around with those kind of athletes. Anything can happen, as we saw late in the first half. So Williams over the center, eye backfield, brings a man in motion, and we get a flag there. We'll wait and see the call, but it looks like, as we see a Tiger motion, it's going to be delay of game against Winnsboro, back him up, bringing up a 3rd and 17.
Well, right here, Darrell, the thing that the Independence Tiger defense has to be wary of is, once again, Williams' scrambling ability. You can't do anything about him hanging it up deep for a receiver. That's something that only athletic ability can achieve. But right here, you've got to keep him in the pocket and don't let him outside on scrambling and containing.
And what I've seen 3 or 4 times, they sent Smith in on the blitz, had a shot at him, and couldn't bring him down. So if they get a shot, they have to make the tackle on Williams. 3rd and 17. Williams dropping straight back, looking to the outside, and there it is once again. Smith came on the blitz. Williams gets away, completes the pass for a first down, and time again, they have come on the blitz and cannot bring Williams down, and the kid is making plays.
Darrell, it's not really a blitz. It's the defensive end losing contain. What's happening is he's going for the sack. Anytime you go for the sack, you risk the situation or the possibility of the quarterback escaping, ducking underneath. So what you really want to do is force him to step up and then just kind of slowly converge on him. Anytime you run full bore at him, you risk that possibility happening, and it did right there.
Well, blitzer contained 3 or 4 times. Smith has went in and has put his hands on Williams and couldn't bring him down. They're going to throw deep over the middle. Albritton's there. As he went for an interception, the ball hit Levy in the hands. Had he caught it, would have been gone for 6, but it's incomplete, bringing about 2nd and 10 from the 38-yard line. And a fast-moving third quarter here as there's only 3:13 to go. The Independence Tigers still lead at 22-6 as we are scoreless here in the third quarter.
Winnsboro right now doing everything they can to stay in this football game, Darrell, and pulling out all the stops right there. Albritton, good coverage, went for the pick. Didn't get it, and that's what the risk you take. And if Levy can hang on to that football, that's 6 points, and we would really have a football game at that point.
So the Tigers 2nd and 10 on defense. Here they come out once again. Williams, the quarterback, has been very elusive tonight. Has made some very big plays for this Wildcat team. They turn. He's going to roll left. He's going to get through there, and he's going to be hit by Derek Hunter. And then the big man, Drake, and also Hatfield bring him down. They drop him for about a 6-yard loss. Credit Derek Hunter for forcing him back to the middle and let the pursuit catch up with him.
That's what we talked about, the contain right there. David Copeland, the defensive end on the right side, made him cut it back, or actually didn't let him outside. It allowed Drake and company to come from behind. So when that defensive end makes that commitment to that kind of athlete and he can bounce it or shift around, that's when you lose contain and you fall into trouble defensively.
So a big 3rd down and 14. Once again, we keep saying big plays, but this drive is huge for both teams there as you're trying to establish some kind of momentum here in the second half. Split backfield. They turn, looking to throw the ball. Courtney coming from the backside. Smith trying to contain him, gets his hands on him, and this time he brings him down, and that one's going to be picked off by Tofield. Yes, it is. So the Tigers have it, and this time Antoine Smith hung on, and he threw it up for grabs, and Tofield made the play.
Tell you what, that's a heck of a defensive play by Charles Tofield to make that interception. An ill-advised throw by Williams. But, Darrell, how strong is his throwing arm? He throws that ball off his back foot, moving in the other direction, and he threw a bullet. I thought that was going to be well short and intentional grounding, but he threw it so hard that he got it near a receiver, and Tofield gets the pick. So, unbelievable athlete is Russell Williams. He's incredible.
But, you know, we say ill-advised throw, but he's made 2 or 3 of those, and they've come up lucky. So this time, and now, if you're the Independence Tigers, you want to be a championship team, this is when you've got to time-consume, take the ball down, and punch it in the end zone. Sieber will turn. He's looking to throw the ball. The blitz is picked up. The out pattern to Albritton's got about 5 yards, cuts it up the middle, will pick up about 7 or 8. Nice play there as good job by DiMaggio in the backfield picking up the blitz and giving Sieber time to complete the pass. Just a quick little out to Albritton. He turned it up and did the rest on his own.
This little 5-yard out or come back to 5 yards. He catches it actually at about the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard or 2 gain right there, but the running ability, because he had the separation, he's able to use his athletic ability to shake away and get 8 yards. Nice play by the Tigers right there on 1st down.
And Albritton should be able to get a little bit of separation as he has beaten them deep twice a couple of times there. They've not completed any, but they respect his speed. Tofield off the left side. Handoff cuts back to the right, and he's only going to pick up about a yard. It's going to bring up about a 3rd and a long 1, and the Tigers here trying to get this momentum back in their favor. The clock is ticking. This is a quickly moving 3rd quarter. There's only 1:15 to go here for the Tigers, and they bring in the big package once again with Courtney.
Well, the faster the clock moves, the better for Independence. But right here they're going to bring in the big load, Antoine Courtney, and also Keith McLean. And this will be 2-down territory, so they're going to get 2 cracks at it here inside the 40-yard line.
And they will hand the ball off probably to Tofield, follow behind the big man in the hole, and Winnsboro has everybody up on the line, so it's mano a mano, man against man here. And there they go off the right side. Tofield hitting the backfield. He's not going to get it. If it is, it's going to be very close. And what happened was the end came in on like a quick slant play there, and he caught him in the backfield before he could get to the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be very, very close. We've got to wait and see the spot there, and I believe they're going to have to measure this one.
It just seems like everything right now is falling the way of the Winnsboro Wildcats. And, Darrell, you got to credit their coaching staff. And, you know, they only have 28 or 30 players dressed out tonight, so you have to give their players a lot of credit. They're a good football team. They're just a little bit shorthanded. A lot of players go both ways, but they're not 8-3 for nothing. And that's going to be short of the 1st down, Darrell, and this is going to be a big play for the Tigers right here.
And if you have confidence in your big packages, they do. They will go for it once again. And this time, let's see if they can pick up that end from coming in, because if he gets to the line, he definitely has the 1st down. But they came in and hit him around the ankles there and dropped him and caught him short from the 1st down. But it is about a length and a half of the football. So big play here in this ball game. 33 seconds going in the 3rd quarter. The Independence Tigers clinging to a 22-6 lead. Haven't been able to put anything on the board here in the 3rd quarter. Have looked impressive early on, but these Wildcats just keep hanging around. They've backed them in a corner, and they're not going away, folks. So Courtney lined up to the left. See if they come from the left side this time. And they're going to call a timeout. The Tigers jump up and call a timeout. And right now we'd like to thank a few of our sponsors, Ross Downing Chevrolet in Hammond, located on South Morrison Boulevard. Go by and see Barry Back, Dudley Downing, all the new Corvettes are in. I got to tell you something, they are fine. I saw one the other day. beautiful automobiles. They got the new Chevy trucks in. All the 98s are in there. Go by, check one out. They'll cut you a great deal. Get you a new car from the holidays. Wouldn't it be nice to have you a nice red Corvette sitting in the driveway, you know, for Christmas? Come out and see the big bow on it here, Mark.
I'll tell you what, Darrell, that'd be the best thing in the world. You're one heck of a pitch man. I got to tell you, you might be the best I've heard in Tangipahoa Parish. You're right up there with Ken Benitez.
Ken Benitez, his son is on the Independence team. Ron Gotro, Crawfish. I'm not sure who they're covering tonight. Our other crew is Jeff Davis and Benny Latina there in Hammond. And also S&S Sporting Goods and the Skalash family, been in business for over 15 years. They support all high school athletics. They do a great job supporting all the schools out there. So you get an opportunity to go by, get you a pair of shoes. They have a lot of Nike apparel, a lot of real nice stuff there. And the embroidery service is going full speed. RP Skalash heading the show down there with the embroidery service. So great job there at S&S. Go by and check them out. Turn the ball, hand the ball to Tofield. Big hole through the line there. And this time the big boys said, all right, come get us because here we come. And they get the first down by about 5 yards there. So the Tigers, 22 seconds to go here in the third quarter, will have a first down and 10 from the 30-yard line.
Right here, Darrell, Independence is looking. They should let this clock run out. Just let this clock start and go play on the other end in the fourth quarter. And I believe that's what they're going to do here is they should just let this 18 seconds run out.
And as that is what they should do here. And we will take this time once again to talk about one or two or more of our sponsors here. Pete's Pharmacy, locally owned and operated by the Armato family there in Independence. Go by and check them out. They have 2 pharmacists on duty at all time. Fast, friendly, efficient service, completely computerized for tax and insurance need, 24-hour emergency service, serving Independence since 1970. Also, Paul's Pharmacy, operated by Paul and Francis Durnan. They accept all your major health plans. Are open from 8 to 6 Monday through Friday and 8 to 2 on Saturdays. Team up with the winner because at Paul's we care about you and your health. Also, Petro Truck Stop, Iron Skillet Restaurant, Lucky Jack's, located out near the mall across on I-12. Mr. Jack Raffel, a big high school supporter and also a big Independence booster. We want to thank him. And, guys, if you hear us talk about these sponsors, go by during the week. Let them know, hey, we heard the game on TV. We appreciate you sponsoring it. And even though I got to say 90% of Independence might be at this ball game, there are people back in Tangipahoa Parish that will get an opportunity to see this game because of these sponsors helping us get us on the air.
Well, I think that's one thing the sponsors, when you go out soliciting sponsors, Darrell, they have to realize there are a lot of folks, elderly folks, who follow Independence and Hammond, Ponchatoula football, and they don't get a chance to get out and see their kids play. But by them sponsoring, it's not just an advertisement, but it helps people see football around the parish.
Sieber on the out pattern to Williams, and a nice tackle, open field there, but they picked.
For Winnsboro, he's come up several times and made some very good tackles, showing himself to be a very good athlete. Made the great catch earlier in the ball game, but right there, giving Independence the out route, they're going to come up and play defense, and they're just taking what's given them.
As we see Danny Wells line up at the fullback, Tofield will follow him into the hole, hit at the line, but he's. Folks, we stepped away for a second there as we had lost power here in Winnsboro, and as we did, the Tigers hand off to Tofield off the right side. He walked into the end zone, and they jump out to a 28-6 lead. We really apologize about the situation. We are here, and it's kind of, they weren't really set up for the television people to be here, but we're doing our best, and we're sorry we're not able to bring you out to a 29-6 lead here as we are experiencing technical difficulties. Sieber booms this kick, will be in and out of the end zone for a touchback. So the Tigers come out late in the third quarter, march the ball down early in the fourth quarter. They post another touchdown, and right now they have established a 23-point lead here going into the fourth quarter, Mark.
They're an outstanding run. Obviously, our viewers weren't able to see it. We were off power, but LeBrandon Tofield ran with some serious authority over the right side. Josh Day opening up a great hole, and he powered through there, and he exploded out of a pack. It looked like he was going down for about a 2-yard loss, or a 2-yard gain, but he was able to break through and score. And, of course, Quentin Weatherford with the extra point, and that's the momentum breather that Independence needed. And Darrell Antron Sieber kicks it in the end zone, and this is a big series right here, a stop by Independence. And I think they can rest a little bit easier, but until they do, this Winnsboro offense is going to continue to scratch and claw.
Hand off to the left side. The big man, Don Drake, drags him down for about a 1-yard gain, maybe 2 on the play. So right now with 10:08 and counting, the Winnsboro Wildcats will probably start to get a little desperate here as they did late in the first half, and the Tigers must be ready on defense for anything tricky. They haven't used a lot of trick plays, but we know they have them in their arsenal.
Well, the key here, Darrell, is Independence is up 23, so that's at bare minimum 3 scores that at bare minimum that Winnsboro would have to make, counting if they get 2-point conversions, possibly 4 scores, so that's big. But you still want to play good defense here and get that football back and really salt this one away.
Williams rolls looking to throw the ball late across the middle, behind one receiver and low to another, so I'm not sure who he was throwing to, but it got almost to the deep man, but it comes up short, and it's going to be 3rd and 8 on the play. So right now the Tigers have their dime package in, playing a lot of DBs back here, figuring that Winnsboro Wildcats will have to throw the football to get back in this game.
This has been a very confounding football game, Darrell. Coming into this game, both offenses very explosive. Winnsboro, nobody's held them down this year at all. They have scored at will on just about everybody they've played. But tonight, Winnsboro's defense has shown a little bit more resolve than their offense has, and it's been quite a contrast of what we thought would happen when we came up here.
Big 3rd down play here. Winnsboro looking to throw. Williams being pressured. There they come up the middle, and he is slammed down by Don Drake. And, you know, we've seen him do that a number of times this year. When the big man gets hold of you, he picks you up, and they call that a back souffle in the WWF.
I think what you're starting to see now is Winnsboro, who had that surge of momentum and adrenaline going into halftime, you see that start to deflate after that last Independence score. And when you have to play both ways like they do, anytime you have to get that emotionally up and then you get your legs cut out from under you, it's really hard, especially the guys up front, to maintain their blocks. And right there you saw Don Drake stayed with it, and came up with a sack, a big play for Independence. They'll get the football back, hopefully, barring some type of turnover here.
Great field position, but as we know, watch for the fake punt. It's a high snap. He's looking to run it. He's going to have it to the left side, has a lane, gets to the outside, will have the 1st down. And once again, the Tigers did not hold their contain on the outside, and you knew it was coming, and they did not stop it. So the Winnsboro, once again, is like a cat with 9 lives. They keep hanging around, and they will have a 1st down out at about the 34-yard line.
I know Coach Baggs is going to be real upset with his punt team right there, because basically they just let their guard down right there, and the punt was going to be blocked, but Williams is going to take off with the football. You have got to play contain on him no matter what, because when he runs the football, he's scary. And if you just try to run back, and you're basically, it's almost worthless putting on a return because he's such a great athlete.
Well, with your return man standing at the 50, why not just hold your contain, make him punt the football? You're going to get in great field position. The only thing that can hurt you is what just did, the run on the fake. Turn, hands the ball to the right side. It's Rose once again. The big man Drake will stand his ground, and they will power forward for about 2 yards. 8:22 to go here in the 4th quarter, and it is 29-6 Tigers. And right now, if they could get the football back the way they've ran the football most of the game, they could pretty much put this one away, but they have not been able to come up on special teams and punting situations and stop this Winnsboro team.
That's going to be a very sore subject. I know tomorrow in film study, should the Tigers hold on and win this game. Obviously, if they don't win the game, that may be a key play in the football game. But right here, Independence's defense continuing to stay on the football field, but Winnsboro taking a lot of time, not in any big hurry with 7:50 to play.
And they hand the ball off and run once again to Rose as he gets to the outside, breaks the tackle, cuts back inside, dragged out of bounds. And I believe that's number 90, Antoine Courtney, following the play all the way across the field. The big man comes up with it, but a 1st down for Winnsboro. And like you said, Mark, they're really kind of taking their time here, which seems kind of odd.
And if you're Coach Baggs, you'll take that play right there. You'll give them that 1st down as long as they continue to run the football. But you don't want to give them too many and let them get into quick strike territory across the 50. But anytime Winnsboro continues to just run the football, of course, that eats clock, and down 3 scores at least, that plays into Independence's favor. But look at this formation.
They come out in a spread set with 3 receivers, and it's just a quarterback keeper up the middle trying to get Williams. He breaks a couple of tackles there, drags down at the 39-yard line, and each time it looks like you have this young man in his grasp, he breaks free and makes something happen. So the sophomore Williams has done it all tonight for Winnsboro and has pretty much sole-handedly kept them in this football game.
I'm not sure if Independence doesn't need a timeout here to just kind of get themselves. Their defense has been on the field basically the whole 2nd half, really, and that's an ingenious play by Winnsboro. They spread the Independence defense, and it's really a quarterback trap is all it is. quick quarterback draw. They have trap action up front, and they're able to get a crease. He's such a great athlete. He breaks through there for the first down.
The same formation once again. Williams calling out a signal. This time he's going to drop the throw to football. It's just a fly pattern to the left side. He's got Rose open, and he's going to score as they complete it. And just what we talked about, a couple of first downs, and then they quick strike you. So they are not dead yet here in Winnsboro. The score will now be the Tigers 29 and Winnsboro 12. A 17-point ball chance. You probably will see them go for 2-point conversion here. So Winnsboro still alive in this ball game.
I'm not sure, Darrell, if that was an offensive pass interference as Rose stuck out a hand and gave a good shove there to look like either Otto Bonds or Devarius Best. I couldn't make out the number. I'm sure that was Bonds on the play, but Bonds, you just saw the separation at the last second, and that usually doesn't happen unless there's a shove. But good players make those moves. You see Michael Irvin in the NFL do that all the time, and great players make great plays, and Rose was able to do that on that play.
As they only say, it's only an infraction if it is called, and it was not called. So the Tigers have had points put on the board against them. There's going to be an illegal procedure call against the Wildcats as they try to go for 2. That'll back them up 5 yards there, so it makes it a little tougher to get that 2-point conversion here. So right now, we have been quietly optimistic for the Tigers, but, you know, you just have that uneasy feeling that they're allowing Winnsboro to hang around, and the way that different plays, odd plays have happened and have fell in Winnsboro's favor, you never know what could happen here. And here we have a formation where the center, they line up for extra point, everybody off, and I bet you one of the men ran across the line, and you cannot do that. Let's see what the call is. As the whistles blow, there are flags down, and it's going to go against Winnsboro as they ran everybody off the line to the right side, and they get called for the illegal procedure.
Well, what happened, Darrell, it looked like they came to the line and were set, and when you shift like that once you're set, of course that's an illegal procedure. The way you have to get into that formation before you're set, and apparently one of them was that moved, and of course the penalty. And right here, if you're Winnsboro, you might want to kick this because right here, if you don't make the 2-point conversion, you're down 3 scores. But if you make the extra point, you're still down 2. So I don't know that if Williams has that kind of leg, but we've seen him in warm-ups, and he can really boom them from about 40 yards. So this will be an interesting call here for Winnsboro.
The ball now rests on the 12-yard line, and we'll see what the coaching staff for the Wildcats come up with here. And right now, you know, it's a big play for the Tigers special teams. Williams under center. He's dropping back to throw the football, being pressured. Smith on the blitz, and this time they get him. Smith went by him, but Hunter and number 83, I don't have his name right away here, came in on the blitz on the blitz up the middle there, and it was just contained. And when he stepped under Smith, the other ones were there with the pursuit.
I don't want to question Coach Easterling. He's a veteran of some 30 years of high school coaching, but maybe, of course, he obviously didn't have confidence in his extra point team to kick that extra point, so that's probably why he didn't. But I've seen Winnsboro on film, and I've seen him in person one time. He kicks very, very well, and he can hit field goals from about 40 yards. So right there, they're down 17 now, Darrell, so they're 3 scores out of this thing, and that's a big, big miss right there for the 2-point conversion.
And Coach Easterling is livid on the sideline with the official. I do not think he agreed with the call on the play before when his men went in motion.
Before the game, we had a chance to walk on the field before the game. Winnsboro has dots on each side of the field down around the 3-yard line where the extra point is placed. And those dots represent where the line lines up so they don't go across the football. And when they were backed up on the penalty, they don't have those dots. So I'm not sure if that forced them to possibly go across the line of scrimmage or not, but it's a possibility.
That would have been my guess, but who knows. But nevertheless, it is 29-12 Tigers, and a little pooch kick there fielded by Wells as he will just go down, and a nice job as 2 players fought for it, but Wells came down with it. So the Tigers set up shop at their own 41. There is 7 minutes to go in this ball game. They lead it by 17, and right now, you got to figure that they want to run the football, get a few first downs. They may not need to score anymore, but they need to run some time off this clock and move the ball down the field with Brandon Tofield.
Sure, Coach Baggs right there would have advised Danny Wells to call for a fair catch, but the young man who's a senior has played his heart out for this Independence club, hasn't got a lot of opportunities, able to come up with that key play. And right here you're going to see a heavy dose of Brandon Tofield all the way down the field, possibly power eye package, but right here we're going with the slot.
And they bring Copeland in to play the fullback position. Tofield, they fake it to the right. Sieber trying to get to the outside. He's going to roll out. I think he might just throw this one away as he just drilled it into the ground, trying to hit Weatherford on a delay post from his tight end position. And, you know, just as we call the running play, they come out and throw the ball trying to catch Winnsboro off guard.
Tough situation there because you put yourself down now in second and long scenario. And, of course, Independence trying to catch Winnsboro gambling a little bit. Not a bad call, but, of course, they were able to get back in defensive coverage. And, of course, Antron Sieber really needs to throw that ball out of bounds, Darrell. He tried to complete that pass, and it was almost picked off. So I'm sure you'll see the Tigers go to the ground game here.
2nd and 10 from their own 40. Only lost about 10 seconds off the clock there. So the Tigers, with Sieber at quarterback, hand the ball to Tofield off the right side. He runs into his own man, falls forward for about 2 or 3 yards. And right there, they just didn't get the job done blocking. The lead blocker got stood up at the line, and LeBrandon ran right in the backfield, right into the back of him. Picks up about 4 yards on the play, though, bringing up 3rd and 6.
3rd down and 6 here, Darrell. Clock ticking, 6.5 minutes to play. And, of course, the objective here is to keep that clock running, up 3 scores. So, of course, you never know right here what they'll call because I'm sure Winnsboro will be gambling, but wouldn't be surprised to see the Tigers keep it on the ground.
They run the 2 wide receivers to the top half. We've seen them complete a few passes to Albritton out of this in the slot. I think they're going to throw the football, as it looks like they are. It is a pass across the middle to Williams, and he caught a fingertip. Going to be dragged down inside the 50. He breaks away. He's going to score. What a play by Rod Williams. Mario Levy had hold of him. Williams kept fighting and driving and took it in for the score, and that could be the one that does it for him. Williams has played big tonight. The underpublicized receiver doesn't get a lot of breaks tonight. He has been one of the key factors.
Well, Darrell, call me an idiot because I thought they'd keep it on the ground right there. But let me tell you something about Keith Corona, the offensive coordinator for Independence. He is a great offensive coordinator, and he saw that slant was going to be wide open. Nobody in the middle of the field. He had the guts enough to call it. It was there. Sieber threw it on a rope, and credit Rod Williams with the outstanding hands and the fortitude to stay with that. They're tugging at the football. He was able to hang on and get into the end zone. An outstanding play.
And a great catch by Williams, and they will line up for the extra point. Snap is down. The kick is up, and it is boomed through the uprights. So the Tigers lead this one now 36-12, and I can't say enough about the effort after the catch. When the guy's trying to rip the football out of his hands, all he could think about, if I get in the end zone, we can kind of put this one away a little bit. And right now with 5:56 to go, Winnsboro is still desperate. But that is a huge, huge touchdown.
Well, the Wildcats are in a do-or-die situation right there. The defender had an excellent opportunity with the ball exposed by Williams. It's a wet football at that. It's a very soggy football field. I'm sure you can't see that on the film, but believe me, it's very soft, and that, of course, leads to bad footing. So the ball gets wet as well, and the defender right there was tugging at the football, and as a result, he grabbed air, and Williams able to slip out, get into the end zone, and that's just a great pitch and catch, and you don't see that at the pro level too often.
And, you know, I got to say something. I thought they would throw the football for the simple aspect. Even if you don't complete it, you punt the ball away. Your defense has played well all night. I figured they might try to get a first down, then run the football, but they come up with a big, huge play for the touchdown. Sieber booms this one once again. It's going to be fielded at the 3-yard line by Rhodes. He's going to cut back to the middle. Now kind of bring it back to the left side. Got a little bit of seam. He's got one man to beat. Antron Sieber will knock him out of bounds, and he does not knock him out. He hits him, and the man tightrope the sideline. And just when you thought that the Tigers had taken control, they run the kickoff back for a touchdown. These Wildcats will not die. This is what high school football is all about. And I got to tell you, Antron Sieber laid a lick on the young man, knocked him a good 3 yards to the left, and he tight-roped and stayed on his feet, showing great balance. And here again, the Wildcats right back in it.
Well, we talked about their athletic ability, and right there, no better illustration of it than Rose making the play. And I tell you what, just got to credit the young man. He's a Division I type running back. He's just a sophomore, I believe, and he's going to be a great player for years to come. And Independence lost contain. Rose hesitated momentarily, Darrell. I thought he looked at the official thinking that ball might have been in the end zone. There was no whistle. Independence kind of let up a little bit, and then he started forward again and was able to break it outside. And once again, Antron Sieber made the hit. But he ran down the sidelines. You can't see the side marker there because it's so muddy. And I don't know if the official was able to even see, but he maintained in bounds and was able to score the touchdown.
And here's that odd formation on the extra point. They're going to try to run it for 2. He will get to the outside. He's going to score as Kenny Albrecht could not come up and make a play. That's going to cut this deficit to 36-20, a 16-point game, which means 2 scores, 2 extra points, and the Wildcats could be back in at 5:40 to go in the ball game. And at this point, we're not sure if they're going to try the onside kick, but that was a huge, huge play. And you talk about so many times that Independence has made the hits tonight, but have not been able to bring certain people down. They have turned into big plays for Winnsboro, and they have hung around. And right now, you're going to see this is the time when champions have to step up, as we talked about earlier, and the special teams need to get the football. And if they do the Independence offense, it is their time to say, all right, we're going to keep this ball for 4 or 5 minutes and drive the football.
This game's very, very far from over, Darrell, as you well know. 2 scores and 2 two-point conversions get you right back in it. They're going to be right here trying for the onside kick. If they get it, then they're right back in the ball game. So right here, it's just a matter of whether the Independence hands team can come up with a play, get the football back in the hands of their offense. That offense grinds some time off the clock. But this Winnsboro team has great athletes. They won't die. And you really have to credit Coach Easterling for having his team ready to play tonight. They're outmanned, no question about it, but they're very much in this ball game.
And last time they pooched the kick and 2 Tigers went up for it together. Luckily, they came down with it. So watch the same situation this time. As he pooches the kick, it's going to be hit down. That's going to be a flag, so the Tigers will take over at the 45-yard line. The ball did not travel 10 yards. And if it doesn't travel 10 yards and the team that kicks off touches it, it automatically goes to the opposition at the point where it's touched.
Darrell, that was very fortunate for Independence that he didn't get the football, because they had a wide open area right at the 50-yard line where the actual paint is down for the 50-yard line. And Independence was kind of constricted more toward the middle of the field, and the contained man had his back to the football. And there was no way they would have been able to recover that onside kick if it reaches the 50-yard line. I think that was a great effort right there by Winnsboro. It just fell short.
So now let's see if they keep the football on the ground and try to pound it at Winnsboro. 5:39 to go in the 4th quarter. Tofield to the right. Huge hole. He's going to get to the outside. Williams blocking, cuts back up the middle, driving down at about the 20-yard line. Huge run by LeBrandon Tofield, and that was a gaping hole on the left side. And, Mark, maybe you and I could have ran through that one.
Well, once again, the counter sweep. Winnsboro has to gamble, so they're sending their ends upfield. And that's what the counter sweep is designed to do, is to catch an aggressive defense that likes to get up the field. And what happens is when he runs out of the play, you really don't have to block him. At that point, you can just turn up in the hole. And there was nobody there. You also had a good seal block off inside. And Tofield knows what to do after that, and he did it running on this muddy track. I guess you can call him a mudder, Darrell.
And he broke to the outside. Williams got enough of a block to give him the lane. This time, Tofield to the right side. He's trying to get to the outside. A lot of blockers in front. There's the speed. He's getting toward the corner. Dives to the end zone. Touchdown, the real deal, baby. He got to the outside and did the rest 5 yards on his own as he dove. And right there shows the intestinal fortitude of this Tigers team. They have a big play come against them, and they come right back and say, hey, this one's ours. We're going to take it back at you. So a back-and-forth game, it took a while for the scoring to get going. But right now there's a lot of points on the board here, and the Tigers are on top, 42-20.
There, one official came in and marked that ball out of bounds at the 1. I'm not sure what he saw, because it looked like Tofield dove right at the end and got in, but they're going to mark him out at the 1, which is actually pretty good for Independence. They can run a little bit more clock here, but a great effort, but an outstanding block by someone from Independence. It took out 2 Winnsboro defenders right at the end around the goal line. I think it was either Brett Anselm or Derek Hunter. We'll have to see the replay, but it was an outstanding block, whoever it was.
So 1st and goal at the 1 as they marked him out at the 1-yard line. A great effort to get to the end zone. Look for him to get the ball here across the right side. Just bowls his way across. And there's the touchdown for Tofield. Number 3 on the night, if I'm not mistaken, for LeBrandon Tofield. Came into this game with, I believe, 39 touchdowns on the season. And right there, the Tigers showed what they're made of as they come out and just take it right at Winnsboro and run it down and score. And, right now, a little bit of life that was in the Winnsboro Sails has been blown out by the Tigers.
But you still have to credit their ball club and their coaching staff. They're outmanned. There's no question. More up front than anything else. I think Winnsboro definitely has the skill people to play with not only Independence, but play with anybody in any level of football. But they just don't have quite enough weapons up front, quite enough depth. And Independence's superior depth and size was able to wear them down. I thought Independence's game plan was superior tonight. Although Winnsboro did do some things well, but you have to credit the entire Independence coaching staff for going into the locker room, making the adjustments.
And a scary situation for the Tigers as the Wildcats came up with a lot of odd plays as they fake this one once again or fumble it. Williams looking to throw it, gets rid of it, knocked down. So once again, they did not execute well on the conversion. At this time, we want to thank all of our sponsors tonight. Ragusa's Building Supply in Independence, Pete's Pharmacy in Independence, the Royal Oak in Hammond, Paul's Pharmacy, Petro Truck Stock, Lucky Jacks in Hammond, Ross Downing Chevrolet, and S&S Sports Center. Once again, I can't remind you, folks, how important it is for these sponsors to come out because, you know, we want you to support them as they are supporting you, helping get this on the air. Go by and see them. Next time you need something from one of these places, go by and see these people because they're helping put these on air. And for every grandparent, parent, from the band, the cheerleaders, and whatever it may be, they all watch these games. So support the people who are supporting you. Go by and thank our sponsors. Let them know that you heard them on the air. Know what a good job and what good things they're doing for high school football.
There, while I'm thinking about it right now, I have to respond to a comment by your esteemed colleague, merely Marty Morgan, made last week. He indeed was a three-sport athlete at Southwood Academy, but I would like to correct something. He was not better than me. So I just wanted to get that little barb in it, Marty. He's a great guy and a great friend of mine. Does an outstanding job. You guys are clearly the class of television in our area. You guys do an outstanding job.
Well, the comment that I most fondly heard about Marty Morgan's athletic ability is you could carry it in your watch pocket as a little scuffle breaks out on the field. Hopefully we won't see any of that. Do not need it here tonight as the Tigers have grip control here, lead it 42-20. And, you know, we miss Marty Morgan out tonight, my normal partner, but Mark, I got to tell you, you've done a fine job, have lended an awful lot of insight here as you're very close to this program. Mark does the public announcing at the Independence Stadium, which hopefully that's where we'll be next week, as depending on the winner of the game, if it is Notre Dame, we will be back in Independence next week. And we're on this magical mystery tour, as we want to call it here. We're trying to get to the Superdome with y'all. And we will go as far as the Tigers go this year. This crew is following the Tigers as far as they go. As we see the referee march somebody off the field, I think they have thrown at least one player out of the game. I'm not sure. A little extra scuffle there. And, you know, at this point in the game, when you realize that it might be over, you start to lose a little bit of your composure. And, you know, it's a shame because Winnsboro has played a great ball game. And, you know, just when you thought they were knocked out, they keep coming back. And that's the true mark of a good team is they never died, never quit. There is 4:59 to go in this ball game. Still a lot of time left, but the Tigers lead it by 22.
Daryl, that's I think there was an ejection of a Winnsboro player. Definitely, I'm not sure if an Independence player was ejected or not, but if he was, then that player will not be able to play next week, if I understand the rules correctly. So depending on who was involved in that altercation, we couldn't see it from here. We're way away from the action as we're on top of the press box behind the track. We're so far away, we have to have binoculars to see. But two players were ejected, and if it's an Independence player, that player, I don't believe, if I understand the rules correctly, and I may be wrong, but he may not be able to play next week if indeed he was ejected.
And going through the country that we came through getting here, I'd have to say we are a country mile away from the action as it was on the far side of the field. Not sure who was ejected for Independence, if there was one ejected. But we did see one of the Winnsboro players get marched off the field there as there was a slight altercation here. And it has stopped action here, 4:59 to go. The score is Independence 42. And the Winnsboro Wildcats 20. At this time, we want to thank our sponsors once again. Ragusa Hardware, located downtown Independence. Go by for any of your plumbing, electrical, or construction needs. If you got questions, they've got the answers at Ragusa's Building Supply. Pete's Pharmacy in downtown Independence is a value right agency, features everyday low prices. Two pharmacists on duty at all times. Go by and see Pete Armato Sr. and Pete Armato Jr. at 878-6321, serving the Independence area since 1970. As we return to the action here, it will be first down and 10. The ball rests at the 20-yard line. Spread formation once again. Three receivers set, two to the high side, one to the low. Williams looking for Levy. Now he rolls to the left. He escapes once again. Being contained there, knocked out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Nice job there by Kenny Albritton as he, bought himself some time, but nobody was open. And Big Drake is a little slow getting up back there as he was chasing Williams and comes up limping a little bit, and we'll see Derek Hunter come in for Drake there. So at this point, if you're Independence, We want to take some time off the clock, get this win, get out of here without it getting anybody hurt.
I think at this point in the game, Don Drake, who is a little bit, well, definitely compared to Derek Hunter, limited in mobility and not as good a pass rusher getting after the quarterback. And he's had a little Achilles problem during the year, and I think he may have re-aggravated it and going to get Hunter in here for the pass rush.
Drake is a mountain in the middle, but right now they're going to send everybody after the quarterback, forcing up the middle there. He throws the ball through two receivers' hands, and whether the moon is aligned with Mars or what it is, he had a shot at a reception by two players there.
Also an interception by Best coming up after the ball was tipped. So that ball fell incomplete. But, Darrell, I got to say once again, Russell Williams, just a sophomore. This young man's going to have an outstanding high school career, already putting up big numbers this year. And he is, without a question, the best athlete that I think Independence has faced all year when you look at the total package. And not only playing offense but defense. He has an outstanding arm. He's been very accurate tonight, and he's scrambled numerous times. You can't say enough about the ability that young man possesses.
And that's quite a comment since we have seen Kentwood, A-Beat, and Salmon all year. A lot of good athletes, but this Williams kid is definitely one of the best. They hand off on the delay to Rose. He gets to the right side, and right now he's rumbling and bumbling and stumbling out to about the 36-yard line, picks up the first down, and that's all they're trying to do there is get the first down. Now they'll go back to throwing the football. 4:30 to go, and the clock has stopped to move the chains. But the Tigers lead it by 22 late here in the fourth quarter. 4:30 to go. And Independence has come out, and, you know, even though the Wildcats came up with some great plays to stay in this ball game, they really did what it took, and they stayed consistent and really never panicked. And you got to like that about the Independence coaching staff. They don't panic. They've been here so many times before.
Well, the stats after the game, Darrell, are probably going to show a few rushing yards for Winnsboro because they're probably going to rack up a few here on this drive. But be honest with you, Independence has flat out shut down their running game. It's been the pass that's hurt them the most tonight. And I tell you what, a great job by Sammy Messina, the offensive coordinator.
And once again, Williams busts up the middle, gets to the outside. Look at the speed. And I got to tell you, as he goes out of bounds, there are 9 Independence Tigers chasing him out. But Williams, once again, makes the big play as he gets to the outside to keep this drive alive. Another first down, 3:58 to go as he runs out of bounds, stops the clock. So Winnsboro does not quit here. You know, but the Tigers are going to back off and give a little real estate here in exchange for some clock, as it would take 3 scores from the Winnsboro Wildcats to get back in this football game. But with the onside kick and the way the ball bounces, you never know.
I had a chance to speak with the Winnsboro radio play-by-play announcer before the game this afternoon, and he said he felt like it was his opinion that whoever won this game was going to have to score 30 to 40 points to win. I thought he was a little bit out of his mind when he said that, but I tell you what, the way they move the football, he may just be right when it's all said and done.
And a great play there, and the Tigers will come up with it as Keith McLean falls on it, but the big man, Antoine Courtney, sidestepped and caught the perfect snap count, pressured Williams, and I'm not sure if he didn't fumble that one forward on purpose, but the ball rolled forward, and the Tigers have it as McLean falls on it, and that should about do it for the Winnsboro Wildcats.
I think out of desperation right there, we saw the Williams try to underhand that ball forward. It looks like Don Drake down again on the field, and you can't afford to have him injured. He's just such a vital cog in the Independence middle, and of course he's a big man, and it takes a lot to get a big man off the ground, especially when he's tired. He may just be resting a little bit, but hopefully he's okay.
And we see Coach Baggs come out to check on him. As we do, we're going to go over a couple of our sponsors once again, the Royal Oak in Hammond. They're located in Seville Plaza. If you need a tuxedo for your wedding party, prom, formal, whatever, go by and see David Alvin there. They're all your tuxedo needs. The Royal Oak, the best fit in town. Also, Paul's Pharmacy, Paul and Francis Durnan there in Independence. They accept most major health plans. Are open from 8 to 6 Monday through Friday, 8 to 2 on Saturdays. Team up with the winner because at Paul's they care about you and your health. And as we see Keith McLean, the guy who recovered a fumble, I think somebody just kind of fell on top of him, knocked the wind out of him. He got up and trotted off the field, and that's good to see there. So the Tigers take over on offense. 3:48 to go in the ball game, leading 42-20. And right now they're going to run the football, keep it on the ground, and just try to take this one back to Independence without getting anybody injured. Sieber turns, hands to LeBrandon Tofield. Nice little hole up the middle. He tried to cut to the outside when maybe he should have kept it up the middle and just lowered his shoulder and picked up a few yards. We'll lose one on the play.
That's where you see the footing on this field. I'll tell you what, it's amazing he's run as well as he has tonight, because if you walk on that field after it's been chewed up during this ball game, it's extremely spongy and soft. And there are areas of the field that are playable or are pretty dry, but I'll tell you what, the camera doesn't show it, but it's tough to run on this track. Anytime you have to make a cut, it's tough, so you're better off almost forging ahead and plowing ahead.
And we don't have access to the stats here. LeBrandon Tofield has a huge amount of yards here tonight, 3 touchdowns on the evening. But, you know, we're supposed to do this in every week, and some weeks we don't do it, we don't get around to it, or we don't think about it. But as well as LeBrandon Tofield has played tonight, as we see him run out at about the 50-yard line, I got to say that, you know, my vote for tonight's player of the game has to be Rod Williams. He's made 2 big pass receptions that he turned into touchdowns, broke tackles, and has made a couple of big blocks here today and, you know, caught a lot of passes. And I'm going to vote for Rod Williams for the player of the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. I think Tofield's obviously going to have the outstanding numbers, but he's expected to have those numbers in this type of offense. And, of course, he's a great player, and you could give it to him every week. But Rod Williams, as you said, making great catches. And not only great catches, Darrell, but the rack, run after the catch. And he's a very unheralded receiver, and it's great to see him be the featured guy tonight because he's a young man that deserves it. All-Britain, a great receiver. They're keying on him tonight, and there's Williams doing the job.
They will turn this time. Sieber looking to throw the football. He's going to just keep it, run up the middle, get to the outside. He's a quick young man, slips down right at the first down marker. And the Independence coaching staff is up top with us. And I got to tell you, in a couple of them plays that Rod made, I looked over at his dad, and he was grinning ear to ear, proud of his son tonight. He's played a great game. And you expect him week after week to catch the football, make the possession plays. But tonight he's made the big plays. He's turned the possession into touchdowns and points for the Tigers. And the way that this Wildcat team has scored, they've needed every one of them.
Well, no doubt about it, especially the deep slant that they ran on a 3rd down and about 6 with a 2-touchdown lead. A great call by Keith Corona. You have to give him a lot of credit. Most offensive coordinators wouldn't make that call in that situation, Darrell. They'd play it more conservatively, but he's a gutsy guy, and he made the call, and you have to give him a ton of credit. The Tigers will go for it on 4th down.
And the Tigers will call a timeout here and want to touch up on the last few of our sponsors. Petro Truck Stop, Iron Skillet Restaurant, Lucky Jack's, located across from I-12 there in Hammond Square Mall. Go by and see Jack Rafael. Thank him for sponsoring, helping. He's helped us out quite a lot this year. He loves high school football. Big Independence booster there. Thank him. Also, Ross Downing Chevrolet, located on South Morrison Boulevard in Hammond. All the new 98 vehicles are in. Go by and check them out. They will cut you a great deal. Fast, friendly service out there. You want to buy a car, they can get you in one. Go by and see the crew out there. And also S&S Sports Center in Hammond. You know, they do a great job there. I worked there for a while, and, you know, they have everything in the store you might need. If they don't have it, they'll get it for you. They don't try to sell you what they have. They try to sell you what you want and what you need. And they do a great job there. Dominic Skalash there. They've been in business for over 15 years. Do a wonderful job. So the Tigers line up with the power backfield on 4th and 1. And should they, with 2:04 to go, should they be able to get this first down here, you might see them just kneel on the ball a few times, and that would be the ball game. Sieber up to the line, big package in front, Courtney and I think McLean. They turn and hand it to Tofu. He has the first down, breaks to the line, dives for a few more yards, picks up 7 or 8, and that's going to about do it there. And the Tigers have traveled across the state. They've come to Winnsboro tonight, and they've taken care of business, and they're going to walk out of here with a big W and look forward to next week either being at home against Notre Dame or being back on the road against Bruley.
Darrell, we talked about character of a great football team. Independence went into the half with a definite loss of momentum. It was all on Winnsboro's side. Unfortunate situation on the opening drive where they drove down, didn't score, ended up going backwards. Winnsboro got the ball back, but the character of this ball club took over. That's a sign of the coaching staff and these players. Great job by the Independence Tigers.
Tofield off the left side, huge hole. He could go. He gets to the outside, dragged down at the 14-yard line. Minute 20 and counting as they will stop the clock to move the chains. And another big gaping hole there as he just ran it off the left side. And, you know, we talked about last week, Marty and I, 8 teams in the parish, 6 of them make the playoffs. After round 1, 4 teams still in it. Kentwood, you got to figure they're going to go a long way in the playoff. Amite, although they're in a tough bracket, are going to be a team to be reckoned with. And Hammond seems to be putting it together late in the season, getting healthy, and has a little bit of a good draw in the bracket. They could go a long way, and we expect Independence to go a long way. So great deal this year for Tangipahoa football.
Hey, what Darrell was talking about Hammond High, they're a team that's really coming around. You've got to really credit the job Carmen Moore and his staff have done, and they have an outstanding draw, and they are a great shot to make it to the Superdome. And tell you what, with their team speed, they're the type of team. I know Curtis is a great football team, but if they could get that matchup on turf, they have the type of team speed to play with those guys. And Curtis, I've seen them play. They're a slow, plodding team. And tell you what, I like Hammond's chances. They'll have to come up against a tough Eunice club and in the semifinals if they do. But I tell you what, it's an Independence faithful cheer, and I tell you what, we'll celebrate with them.
And with the time clicking down, this is going to do it for the ball game. The Independence Tigers have come to Winnsboro and walked away with a 42-20 victory. And, you know, Mark Willoughby, want to thank you for coming out helping us tonight. Come in a pinch hit when my man Marty Morgan could not be here. Our cameraman Catfish Phil. I'm Darrell Smith. As the Independence Tigers move on, and you know, back at the doghouse in Hammond, I got a lot of Hammond fans that come in to see me, and they kind of get on me and say, hey, you've converted to Independence, because I am a Hammond alum. But I got to tell you, the Independence folks have made us feel like family, and we're following them from this on. But I wish Hammond well as much as everybody else in the parish. We pull for parish football, and what it would be to see A-Meet and Independence in the Dome. Wouldn't that be a great one?
I tell you what, we're certainly pulling for them. I know all of the Tiger fans are pulling for A-Meet. We're rivals one game a year, and we pull for each other. We pull for Hammond, Ponchatoula. The parish is a community, and I think Tangipahoa Parish, obviously this year, perhaps one of the best parishes